form, and I think that is a blow. But they get Jacob Murphy back, who was left out at the weekend as a precaution because he's got a hamstring issue that he's managing. And Murphy's a different type of player to Barnes, but Barnes being on the bench is good news. And they've got Elanga back as well, who hasn't convinced yet and has had a tough time, but also offers something different with his speed. And with Trippier back, although they've lost Livramento, their bench is a little bit stronger than it has been.
It's a stronger looking bench. There's experience on the bench. Elanga being back gives you something different, gives you that pace. Pace can hurt teams as well. He can get in behind, he can make life difficult for teams. He's a good option to have on the bench, as is Barnes, of course, because we know the quality that Barnes has got and what he can bring. Voltemada's on there as well, so all of a sudden bench looks more stronger than it was. I mean, there's obviously a couple of young boys on there, and Alex Murphy, who seems to be on there all the time but never gets any game time, and young Sean Neave is there as well.
Strong bench, not as strong as Manchester City's, but then few teams and clubs do have the depth of quality that City possess. Let's go through the two lineups here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. 8 o'clock kickoff, first leg of the League Cup semi-final. The second leg is in 3 weeks' time in Manchester. I wonder what state the aggregate score will be in by the time they go to the Etihad. We'll find out tonight. Newcastle, Pope in goal, Miley, Chow, Botman, Hall, Ramsey, Bruno, Joelinton, Murphy, Gordon, Wissa. On the bench, Ramsdale, Trippier, Tonali, Barnes, Elanga, Voltemada, Willock, Alex Murphy and Neve. Tonali's obviously had some changes in his personal circumstances with the arrival of a baby, and put in a big shift. Normal time, extra time, scored a penalty on Saturday. So him being left out is not necessarily a huge surprise, but when Newcastle name a team and Sandro Tonali is available and is not in it, there will always be some raised eyebrows, John Anderson.
Yeah, I think so. Look, there's been a lot of talk about his form and the way that he's performed. The problem you have with Tonali is that he was playing so well that he set a standard so high, that you just expected that level of performance week in, week out. And then he drops below that and people start questioning it. Now, drops below it, but that's not saying that he's playing poorly. It's just that he's dropped below the levels that were so high. The level that he was playing at were incredible. Game in, game out. You never questioned it. You just thought, it's Tonali. He plays at this level and that's what he does. And then, as I say, when he drops below it, people start asking questions and say that he's not as good as he was. But I still think his performances have been decent, but because you set your standards that high, and he set his standards so high, people expect that type of performance week in, week out.
Tonight it's 7 changes for Newcastle. Pope, Miley, Bruno, Joelinton, Murphy, Gordon all in. For Ramsdale, Trippier, Tonali, Barnes, Voltemada, Willock and Livramento, who is out injured, and it seems like it might be 2 months for Livramento. Those are the noises that we are hearing, but there'll be an opportunity to discuss with Eddie Howe at the end of the match, and we'll try and find out more for you then. Let's have the Manchester City team. In goal, James Trafford, a player who could have been in the other starting 11 tonight, but ended up back at City, where he started his career, but is now the cup goalkeeper and the second choice goalkeeper for the Premier League. He keeps his place though from the Exeter match the other day. Mateus Nunes, midfielder, who now plays at right back. Abdulkadir Khuzanov, the centre-back from Uzbekistan that Newcastle wanted to sign before he went to City last January. Max Alain, who has come back, been recalled from a loan at Watford in the Championship, where he was playing and performing well, to help City with defensive injury problems. Those are the two centre-backs. Nathan Ake, who Eddie Howe had at Bournemouth, is at left back. Nico O'Reilly in a holding midfield role. Antoine Semenyo stays in the team. He played for Bournemouth in an earlier round, but the changes to the rules of the League Cup mean that he is not cup tied, and you can represent two clubs in the same season in the competition. Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden and Jeremy Doku and Erling Haaland up top. 1 goal in 7 against Newcastle United, and 1 goal in his last 5 appearances, a penalty against Brighton. Those are the stats that read well from a Newcastle perspective. All of the others don't, so I'll leave them. But he has scored a lot of goals this season.
Yeah, I mean, again, unbelievable. They get 10 at the weekend and he doesn't get any of them. You know, but look at him. We know the qualities that he's got. I think he's shown that throughout the Premier League. His record against us hasn't been great. I think we've done well against them. We've marshalled them well, and hopefully that will be the case again tonight.
City's bench: Gianluigi Donnarumma, the goalkeeper, Tijani Reinders, Ryan Cherki, Rodri, who has had, since coming back from the ACL injury, a knee injury setback, a couple of hamstring problems. He's clearly not 100% fit. Ryan Aït-Nouri, Ryan Makedu, Charlie Gray, Divine Mukasa, 3 academy boys there, and Rico Lewis himself, only 21, but in and out of the Manchester City team, though he did score 2 of the goals against Exeter at the weekend. Chris Kavanagh from Lancashire is the referee. If you're looking for a good omen, he was a referee for one of Newcastle's wins in the earlier rounds of the League Cup this season. The victory here by 2-0 over Spurs. He also took charge of the home win over Wolves, Newcastle's first victory of the campaign back in September. And there is VAR tonight. It's in the League Cup from the semi-finals onwards, so the 2-legged ties and then Wembley. Semi-automated offside technology will be in use, and referee announcements on the pitch for decisions as well. Stuart Atwell is on VAR. No VAR earlier in the competition, and we didn't have it on Saturday either for Bournemouth.
No,
it's back tonight, so
strange, isn't it?
Can't escape it for long.
You would imagine if you have it, you use it. It seems a strange decision not to use it when you've got it in place, and then you get to a semi-final stage and decide to bring it in.
Yeah.
Weird.
You should send the PGMOL some feedback, I think. There'd be quite a lot for them to
but it doesn't really make sense, though, does it?
Yeah.
You know, if you've got it, use it.
A lot of it is down in earlier rounds, and it's been like this with the FA Cup. Grounds outside the Premier League, most of them some are not equipped for it. Some grounds have hosted Premier League football, may now be Championship or possibly lower, and have used VAR, but most don't. So that had been part of the reasoning why in the past, but it's here tonight, so yeah, it will be running in the background and used if needed. BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds, 10 minutes until kick-off. They were away first against Arsenal last season, away first against Southampton a couple of years ago, 3 years ago now, Newcastle United. They won all 4 legs of their recent League Cup semi-finals on their way to Wembley, and I don't know whether they will be a very good price in terms of the bookmakers' odds to do the same again, but at home tonight they have the opportunity to get into a lead if they can against a great Manchester City team. But City don't always do so well here. Newcastle have lost only one of the last 5 meetings with them at St James's Park. They beat them in the League Cup 2 seasons ago through an Isak effort. That was in the 3rd round of the competition. So their record against Man City away is atrocious. That's the case for a lot of clubs, but at St James's Park it's good. And Pep Guardiola knows for his team coming to Newcastle has been tough.
For many years, I think since Eddie Howe took over, so many years. So look how many games won in the last minutes. The pride is there. That the crowd push always have been like that, right? So long time always in this stadium is special, but at the same time, in semi-finals, if we play against Arsenal, Chelsea will be as difficult as Newcastle is. It should not be, I would say, differently. It should be more pressure on them for the fact they are champion. So done really well since many years, and now we are again. They won last season, semi-finals, and you're right. So they are the champion, and the opportunity for a lot of us, but especially for a lot of new players to reach a final.
They do raise their game, Ando, time after time at St James's on the big nights and against the established top clubs, and they have done well against Manchester City in particular. They've also lost games against them, and they've been battered on occasion, many occasions at the Etihad, where they have to go in a few weeks' time. Do you believe that tonight, with it being at home, the atmosphere is already really good? The War Flags display at the Leeds' end is coming together now, ahead of the arrival of the players. All the ingredients are there for a Newcastle team that's 13 unbeaten at St James's Park to do that again, to play to a top standard, to raise their game and get another big result in a big match.
Look, I always think under the lights there's always a special atmosphere at St James's. Whether it's imaginary or not, it just seems to be better. It just seems to be so much better under the lights. I think it'll be electric tonight because there's so much riding on it. They know how important this game is. Of course, we would love to take a couple of goal lead to Manchester in 3 weeks' time or whenever it is. So fingers crossed. I mean, against the top sides here, our level of performance has been very, very good. Okay, we didn't get the results against Liverpool, we didn't get the results against Arsenal, but the performance itself were exceptional. And then the performance here against Manchester City when we beat them 2-1 as well. We were excellent that day, and that's the type of performance we're going to need again tonight.
Well, at home first, away leg comes early next month. There is an argument that it's better either way, but Eddie Howe would have liked this one the other way around.
The natural preference is for the home game to be the second leg, just because you have a clear understanding of what you need to do and you have the home crowd with you. It's not like that for us this time. We need to use the home crowd for our advantage in the first game and try and give everything to impose ourselves on them in this home tie. It's going to be an important game for us. We really enjoyed the two-legged format last year. Even the sort of gap between games was quite good because you could detach yourself from the result and your focus goes away and then it comes back when it comes round, and it's very similar again this year. So we enjoyed that challenge. This is going to be a totally different one. I think Manchester City, the hardest team to play over two legs in the country. Pep, I'm sure, will tactically have something ready for us, and we'll have to be at our very best to try and get through.
When you look at City's squad at the moment, they've got quite a few big name players unavailable because of injury and Africa Cup of Nations. They brought a lot of young players in as well, and also added Antoine Semenyo. How hard is it to prepare to play them, because you perhaps maybe don't know what their squad's going to look like from one game week to week, and obviously they made lots of changes anyway for the FA Cup at the weekend?
Yeah, I think they're a very difficult team to prepare for anyway, because, as I say, they change and tinker a lot with the tactical setup that they have, and of course you're quite right to say they've got a few players missing. So yeah, a difficult team to read, difficult team to know how to plan and prepare for, to play against, but we will have our things in place, and of course the priority for us is always ourselves and what we do and how we can hurt them, so that will be uppermost in our thoughts, and it's important in the home game that we are ourselves and we give the best account of ourselves that we can.
Total Sport North East.
The EFL Cup.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Eddie Howe there speaking ahead of the match as we are treated to a performance of what we'll call local hero at St James's Park, played by 16-year-old Joe Bartley, who has been busking outside St James's Park.
I was speaking to his dad earlier.
Were you?
His dad said he was more nervous than Joe was. He says him and his mum were really, really nervous about it. He's been brilliant.
He's on the electric guitar. There's a bit of accompaniment, a backing track as well over the public address system, but he's making it sound fantastic. Brilliant performance from a talented young musician, a big Newcastle fan. how special for him to be out in the centre of the pitch at St James's Park to help get the crowd even more whipped up. At the Leazes End, the display, there's a banner that says Gannon along Wembley Way, and then black, white and gold foiled flags which are there to represent the Wembley Arch. Well, we've been at Wembley Way in recent seasons. All you've seen is black and white. There was barely any Man United presence 3 years ago. You didn't see many Liverpool either before the game. Newcastle hoping to have that opportunity again at the end of March, but in order to get there, they've got to come through a big one tonight and then go again against City in a few weeks' time. It's so important, Ando, isn't it, that tonight goes well, whatever that looks like. If you were to go to Manchester City with a deficit of a couple of goals, you would feel it would be really hard, as much as Newcastle have delivered time after time in this era of the club's history, to overturn that. But if they're in front, or even if they're level, then it's still game on, and it's only half time in the tie, whatever.
Yeah, look, in cup football anything can happen. You know, you want to make sure you're still in the tie when you go to Manchester. You don't want to be 2 or 3 down, that's for sure. You don't want to be chasing it, but you want to give yourself an opportunity. Even if you were 1 down, it still gives you that opportunity to go to Manchester and turn it around. So, look, as I say, at the end of 90 minutes here, you still want to be in the tie.
BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds bringing you the full 90 minutes live. We're on the Newcastle United website and app as well. Coin toss shortly for the two captains, Bernardo Silva and Bruno Guimaraes, after some young mascots have their photo taken in the centre circle. James Trafford gets a hug from a member of the Manchester City staff. He's handed a towel. Big night for him, isn't it, at a ground where he could have been a home player. Not really. Probably hasn't been able to show Manchester City fans what he can do in limited appearances, but very highly rated. Trafford, 23, from Cumbria, went away to Burnley, now back at City. So we'll learn a lot about him tonight, won't we?
We will. I mean, he went back to Manchester City expecting to be number 1. But he played 3 league games, and they went and got Donnarumma from Paris Saint-Germain, and all of a sudden he finds himself as number 2 again. But he's played in the cup games. This is probably the biggest game of his career, to be fair.
Newcastle have won the toss, so they're going to kick uphill towards the Leazes End to the left in the first half. Black and white stripes, black shorts, black socks. City, sky blue shirts with a white sash, white shorts, sky blue socks. Trafford in green with a bit of orange trim. Pope in purple. Newcastle United, Pope, Miley, Chow, Botman, Hall, Ramsey, Bruno, Joelinton. Bruno in the middle, the deeper midfield role. Murphy, Gordon and Wissa. City, Trafford, Nunez, Kuzanov, Alain and Aki. Very much a makeshift back four, not a first choice back four because of injuries. O'Reilly holding midfield. Semenyo on the right, Doku on the left, Bernardo Silva and Foden in the middle, and Haaland up top. On the bench, Donnarumma, Reinders, Shirky, Rodri, Aït-Nouri, Makedu, Gray, Ukasa and Lewis. United subs, Ramsdale, Trippier, Tonali, Barnes, Elanga, Baltamada, Willock, Alex Murphy and Neve. Both of these teams entered at the 3rd round rather than the 2nd round because of their participation in the Champions League. So Newcastle don't have to play as many games this season as they did last in their quest to reach Wembley. Standing in between them, a team that has won the League Cup 8 times. Only Liverpool with 10 have won it more, and Manchester City are the most successful in recent times in English football. They know how to win, but so do Newcastle United now, and we're underway on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Ball went forwards from United, it's now in their half. Joelinton slides in, O'Reilly up to Haaland, and Foden edge of the area. Miley has it and clears. Wissa has 4 blue shirts around him. One of them, Kuzanov, heads forward. Miley stabs it on. Ake slides it away. Doku chasing. Miley in between man and ball to see it out on the far side.
Yeah, good defending. Ball gets played down the line, just gets himself between ball and man.
City have won it back from the throw. Haaland goes down too easily for the referee, nothing given. And Joelinton to Gordon, Hall beyond him. Over halfway, Gordon cuts inside, plays it short to Joelinton. Man on, O'Reilly, who gives him a shove. Joelinton released it to Botman. 26 yesterday, Sven Botman, and signing a new contract as well. He's got it again from Gordon. And now to Bruno, closed down by O'Reilly, the tall 20-year-old, following and closing down in midfield. Newcastle keeping possession in their half. Botman could come up to Joelinton, instead looks to his right. It's Ramsey, takes it to the right, then backwards, then turns and is tripped by Bernardo Silva. And a free kick just maybe to relieve a bit of pressure, because although they had the ball, Ando, they couldn't get out.
Yeah, they weren't going anywhere with it, were they?
Botman up to Joelinton, first time to Hall. Gordon on the touchline, Hall now in the City half, diagonal ball, Ake on his thigh, takes control, then turns and goes back to goalkeeper Trafford. Don't think the full crowd committed to the booing there of James Trafford. Some did, some didn't. Haaland heads it backwards under pressure from Botman. Joelinton tried to win it. Bernardo Silva, Ramsey's all over him, but Bernardo Silva comes away with it and gets a free kick. Ramsey apologises for the trip, but didn't give him a second there.
He's a good player though, isn't he, Silva? So comfortable on the ball.
Jeremy Doku, the Belgian winger, he's had a good season, hasn't he? Murphy and Miley doubling up on him. Doku goes back to Ake near the centre circle now. City with O'Reilly, who played 3 minutes. 0-0. Kuzanov to Semenyo inside, tackled by Gordon. Bruno's got it. Needs to find a black and white shirt. It's Botman on the edge of the area. Botman away, cut out by O'Reilly. And Nunez off Joelinton. A throw 25 yards from Newcastle's goal at the Gallagher end. Nunez with his left wrist strapped, bandaged up, back to Abdul Kadir Kuzanov, and now it's Max Alain. Trafford in the D and sends it long and high. Hall and Botman communicate, as does Pope, and it's one goalkeeper to another, and Pope drops it at the feet of Botman, edge of the area. Bruno comes to get it, Bernardo Silva at his back, out to Hall, takes it inside with his first touch, then Bruno again. Nothing on for Bruno, but he's done well to play a pass around the corner onto Joelinton, away from Nunez, and then Gordon. Joelinton may have been caught late, but play goes on, and what a ball from Gordon to Murphy. Ramsey in the middle, and Johan Wissa in the middle, and Wissa over the top. The flag is up anyway, and Johan Wissa, or is it offside?
No.
Or they're just saying goal kick. Johan Wissa, after 5 minutes, has been presented with a glorious opportunity to score, and he has missed the target.
Yeah, he's had a couple of them in recent games as well, haven't they? Spread it wide, Murphy, first time ball, cross goal.
He's onside.
Yeah. Misses the target.
It was a really good move, and Murphy's cross was, well, played in with precision. Wissa's finish is one that he'll be disappointed with, as is the majority. It's St James's Park. Left-footed over the bar. Bruno spreads the play out to Miley, back to Chow and Botman. Those are the moments, aren't they, that you have to take. Botman up to Joelinton. Seemed like he got caught in that move, but he's okay. Gets it again from Botman, then tackled by Nunez, caught again. City have it with Foden. Semenyo right corner of the penalty area. Gordon back there to help out defensively, forces him away. Foden comes back to Nunez, but still about 20 yards from the goal. 0-0. And Manchester City work it back and then out to the far side, the left wing. Doku, again 2 to get past Murphy and Miley. Ake comes back to Elaine, and now Kuzanov, Newcastle, all within 25 yards of their goal. Even Wissa's come back deep. It's a low block, like we used to see a lot in years gone by. Not so much now.
Everybody in black and white behind the ball. 30 yards from their own goal.
Dropping in, aren't they, to defend. 7th minute. Doku, a step over away from Murphy. Dangerous cross. Chow clears from inside the 6-yard box, near post area. They've pushed it away, but it's 30 yards out. We're still with Manchester City. Alain to Kuzanov, close down by Joelinton, onto Semenyo. Back inside onto his left, Antoine Semenyo. Back to Alain, and now O'Reilly, Ramsey and Wissa force City back. Kuzanov, floated ball to switch the play. Doku down on the floor, running at Miley, and gets past him. And from the goal line, the cutback is cleared out for a throw. We've seen Newcastle break with speed, and Wissa miss a glorious chance. We've seen Manchester City there pass and pass and pass and wait for the right moment to get in, which they do.
Yeah, it's what they do, isn't it? They keep it and keep it, move you around the pitch.
Ake up the left wing to Doku, and it goes around Miley again, has to turn and come back, threads it through for Bernardo Silva. Haaland couldn't get it in the middle, and Gordon sticks it out for a throw on the near side.
Ooh. Showed his pace, didn't he, Doku? Just played it in behind. Silva got in, great ball across goal. Thankfully Haaland couldn't get there.
Alain here to Bernardo Silva, facing his own goal in the centre circle. They went backwards with it. Mateus Nunes on Semenyo. Botman and Bruno get around him, and Mateus Nunes tries to keep it in, and throw goes the way of Newcastle United.
Ooh.
The assistant referee is Dan Cook on the near side, Ian Husson over at the east stand, and Lewis Hall with the ball. Haven't seen it for a couple of minutes. It's good to have it back. Joelinton to Hall. Wissa trying to get in behind away from Alain, but the flag's gone up. Newcastle United 0, Manchester City 0. That Wissa chance, I can't stop thinking about it. It's one that
he's had a couple of them in
score, yeah,
in previous games as well. You've got to be hitting the target from there, though, haven't you?
Would have given them a great platform in the early stages of the semi-final first leg. O'Reilly for Manchester City, one of only 4 clubs to have retained the League Cup, which is what Newcastle are hoping to do. They won 4 in a row a few years ago. There's a slip from Doku, no foul. Murphy's got it, tries to come inside. Ramsey turns back to Chow. There's nothing on, nothing inside really, apart from blue shirts for Ramsey. Kuzanov got a bit lucky there after some untidy control, and still has it for Manchester City. Back into his own half, back to Alain. Now Newcastle push right up, and the young defender goes back to the goalkeeper, Trafford, on the 18-yard line. Long ball through the middle. Another one that sails straight to Nick Pope.
At least he's not taking chances.
0-0. Hall looking for Gordon. It's gone beyond Gordon and Mateus Nunes on the floor here near to the touchline, and Kuzanov.
Oh dear.
What's he done there? It's gone out to Newcastle.
Just took his eye completely off the ball.
Gordon wants to take it quickly, but there's no movement. Gordon's frustrated. He throws the ball down to Lewis Hall. He played a great pass over to Murphy, leading for that Wissa chance. Manchester City get a throw now that Lewis Hall can't believe. argues with the assistant referee. He played it inside, it came back, and he said the last touch was of a City player. Nunez to Alain, not the best clearance. Joelinton's got it now. Nunez wins it back, lifts it over the head of Gordon and carries it over halfway. Joelinton tries to make a tackle, just misses it.
Just missed him.
Yeah, player and ball. And Alain to Ake. Up the line to Doku, and he gets it back. And United sink deeper. 12 minutes on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Kuzanov for Semenyo. Gordon to take on. He skips inside. Plays it short to O'Reilly, and Foden straight back to O'Reilly, who actually let it run for Kuzanov. Semenyo cuts in, then goes on the outside. Gordon stops him, but City still have it. O'Reilly square to Ake, clips in across, and that's missed everybody, has it? Or did it get a touch?
Given it a corner kick, came off Gordon.
Must have touched Gordon, who was covering at the back of the box. Manchester City corner on the right, 0-0.
Manchester doing what Manchester City do, isn't it? Keep the ball and keep it.
It's brushed off Gordon, who tried to get out of the way of it because he knew he could let it go. Foden's got the corner. In it comes Miley, front post, area heads clear. Teus Nunez heads up. Foden takes it inside where Bruno Guimaraes gets a boot to the ball, but Foden's got it back and has played it against Wissa. Now it's come for City to Ake, and out to the corner for Doku to chase. Botman is closest. Doku's cross, Chow header. Gordon nudged over by Haaland, free kick Newcastle.
Yeah, thankfully. Just moving this from side to side, aren't they? Going right, left. Got so many black and white shirts behind the ball.
With what is effectively a 4-5-1, isn't it? Trying to stop them getting in up the sides. Here's Botman to Hall, closed down by Semenyo, blocked by Semenyo, and Botman gives Semenyo a shoulder barge, and the ball goes behind for a goal kick. Conversation between Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall pointed to something on the far side, constantly analysing the match as they have to do. Pep Guardiola, who's back on the touchline tonight after serving a ban and watching the Exeter 10-1 cup win from the stands, punishment for receiving 3 bookings this season. And he's just gone back to his seat on the bench in a long black padded coat. Botman in front of the Newcastle penalty box, looking for Wissa, manages to get a touch on it, but Alain behind him put enough pressure on for Wissa to be unable to hold it. But then Bruno gets it back, and it's on to Gordon quickly, taking on Nunez, comes inside, still has it Gordon, decent cross, Joelinton flicked header wide from the middle of the penalty box, but not a bad effort when he had to really strain his neck muscles. Gordon's
flat
cross.
ball played in, wasn't it? Did well to get something on it.
Rolled short to Trafford. He's thinking about another long kick. Here it goes. Hall and Gordon are there. Newcastle get it back. It's Gordon first to the ball. Oh, a bit short for Botman, but he's beaten Haaland in the challenge. I don't think Haaland fancied that, did he?
No,
Up the line now by Miley for Murphy. Wissa in the middle again. Murphy's won a corner. Forwards go Chow and Botman. Every City player comes back. Lewis Hall will deliver it. They've got that set up again with black and white shirts round the back. 4 of them: Bruno, Chow, Joelinton, Botman. Miley comes back into the middle of the half for cover. City are in the 6-yard box. In it comes from Hall. Trafford's palmed it away. And Bruno comes after it, left wing. Ramsey up the line. Miley inside. They go to Miley. And he turns, plays it off Semenyo onto Bruno, who now comes inside. Semenyo's made a challenge, nothing given. Bruno wants a free kick. Manchester City now trying to get Haaland in, but an overhit through ball. Bruno goes to the referee, who is explaining the decision. Pope quick throw out from the back. Murphy for the run of Wissa. Oh, he's controlled it, but the touch has gone backwards when he needed to take it into his stride. But that was decent play. Just the touch was lacking from Wissa. 0-0. Every time they go forwards or there's some pressure, the excitement levels in here are off the scale. Here is the goalkeeper, Trafford, playing it to Bernardo Silva. Phil Foden, who didn't look certain, and then a challenge came in, which is a foul from Joelinton inside the Manchester City box. A little bit fortunate, City, although Foden, of course, has the ability to get away from a tight spot like that. But
yeah, he read Joelinton, didn't he? Joelinton tried to read what Foden was going to do. Foden's had the touch, and he's come back in, and he's just caught him on the ankle.
Trafford, a short ball to Kuzanov, back to the keeper, who has a touch, then goes square to Alain. Oh, it's a poor first touch, it takes him out to the corner, and Jacob Murphy deflects the ball out. Murphy limps away, may have been caught in that, or may have, as he was stretching, hurt himself. One to keep an eye on. Ake trying to take the throw from completely the wrong place. There's also another ball on the pitch, which Wissa removes. No goals, but Wissa with a massive chance. City flashed across the face of goal that no one could get a touch on. And they've taken the throw. Haaland now plays it off Chow, and it's out on the far side. 15-20 yards from halfway. Anthony Elanga sent out to warm up and got good applause from the Leazes end. Free kick for a foul in midfield on Doku. Semenyo stretching the pitch, is right on the touchline here. Hall keeping an eye over his shoulder. Harvey Barnes is now warming up as well. The match hasn't restarted. Bernardo Silva's picked the ball up and come to the referee next to the centre circle. What's going on?
No idea. No idea. Referee's having a word with Silva.
We're not getting any VAR information. Bruno Guimaraes is getting a word from the referee as well. And we're about to play on. 0-0. O'Reilly back to Bernardo Silva. Alain floats it out to Nunez on his chest. Hall close to pinching it. Joelinton has won it. Great desire from Joelinton. Wissa finds him then with a header, but a difficult one for him to control. And Newcastle without the ball now. Manchester City trying to come through a tight midfield area, but are stopped by Jacob Ramsey on halfway, and he's applauded by Eddie Howe as it goes out.
That's what you've got to do. You've got to get in and around them, not give them any time on the ball at all.
Nunez back to Kuzanov. Alain looking to drop it in behind Hall for Semenyo, but Lewis Hall gets up, heads away. Joelinton is there, and under pressure he's turned and plays it up the line to Gordon, but it's put out by O'Reilly, playing that screening and covering deep midfield role well. And Hall with the throw. Just over 20 minutes gone. Lewis Hall is heading back towards his own goal, tried to turn, and the referee says Phil Foden fouled him, so Newcastle are awarded a free kick. What rating do you give the performance in the first part?
It's been disciplined, hasn't it? It's been disciplined. We knew what Manchester City would be about, but they've kept their shape really well.
Ramsey comes to get it in midfield, on to Chow, who drops a shoulder, comes inside and plays it out to the right to Murphy, up the line, out to Miley for Murphy. Gordon and Wissa in the box. Murphy's cross, flicked away, now edge of the area. O'Reilly straight to Hall, still Lewis Hall. Made some progress into the box, but it's cleared. Haaland holds off Botman, plays it to Doku. Miley with him on halfway, left side. Manchester City come into space in midfield with the ball. Newcastle's best bet, isn't it, is a quick ball in behind, up the line, and then runners, isn't it? Manchester City is the more patient build-up you would expect, more often than not. And that was the move that led to the Wissa chance, and then when Murphy got the corner and that break as well. Back they go to Trafford, just outside the penalty area. Long ball again, out to the left wing, Miley with some control, then on to Ramsey, gets turned, turns the other way, looks for space. I thought he played really well on Saturday, Jacob Ramsey, and although it means Tonali's on the bench tonight, it's good to see him get another opportunity. Hall, the drop of the shoulder. Oh, he's gone on a great run, Lewis Hall, and he's tripped on halfway. Something that he's really added to his game, or has done more of recently. Coming inside and slaloming away from challengers and between players. No yellow card though, despite some supporters demanding one for Semenyo.
Yeah,
he's got none of the ball and didn't try and get the ball either, mind. Some suggestion the free kick is a bit too far forward. Might have been where he landed, not where he was fouled, but Lewis Hall to take it just inside the City half, try to play it in behind. And Mateus Nunes got across, and then Gordon, that's a foul in the corner, of course it is, and Bernardo Silva in the back. Hall just tried to whip it low around a defender through a gap, and it needed a bit more behind it, I think, but a smart idea.
It's really cagey, isn't it?
Nick Pope's down, and with Nick Pope being down, sitting down in the middle of Newcastle's half, goalkeeper can't go off for treatment. Both teams, they're using this as a tactics break and a drinks break. Manchester City are coming over to see Pep Guardiola, and Eddie Howe has got Jacob Murphy and Jacob Ramsey there, and Johan Wissa, who he's got his arm around.
He's hardly touched the ball.
Pope. Aaron Ramsdale has got a woolly hat and a snood on. He may as well wear a balaclava. It's wrapped up with a thick coat, a luminous yellow bib, training pants on, and Nick Pope's flat on his back, examining his knee. We shouldn't joke, because if there is an injury, or ends up being a problem, but Pope is helped to his feet by the physio. Bruno's tying his bootlace. He was doing that a lot on Saturday. Anthony Gordon's doing the same. Jacob Ramsey is still pitch side, puts a water bottle back into the drinks holder. Manchester City instructions for their players as well. It's like a reset for both teams at 0-0 on 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's like after so long, you can have a break and you can have a coaching session.
Well, it's like training, isn't it? Which would be stopped.
Yeah.
I wonder what they will.
Nick Pope's moving all right, man.
Just keep an eye on him. I wonder what they've changed. Well, if anything, tactically, but there must be something that Eddie Howe wanted to say to the players. There's Chow on Haaland. It had previously been Botman with Haaland. Murphy turning, coming through a couple of challenges, scooping it up out to the right to Ramsey. Can't go forwards though, back to Miley, middle of Newcastle's half. Now Chow, Botman inside, first time It goes to Botman, then first time on to Hall, closed down by Semenyo, and Hall's ball is blocked by the Ghanaian international. Out it goes. Got 10 for Bournemouth this season, then scored on his City debut. Playing on the right tonight. Newcastle, Pope, Miley, Chow, Botman, Hall, Ramsey, Bruno, Joelinton, Murphy, Gordon, Wissa. 7 changes. Joelinton trying to play it inside from the throw. Man City have it back. Nunez has lost it to Ramsey, looking for teammates in the middle, and now Jacob Ramsey out to the right and on to Jacob Murphy, who is onside, looking for Wissa, left side of the area. Johan Wissa takes it under control and gets
offside.
Now flagged by offside from the assistant.
Looked offside as well, didn't he? Just thought he went too early.
Was it Murphy or was it Wissa? He's got the flag in the middle, hasn't he? The assistant, not low down to suggest it was Wissa.
Yeah, he's just ahead of the ball, isn't he?
Looked offside there. Well, doesn't matter anyway. Semi-automated offside technology would sort it out, wouldn't it? Because that's what it does. They've had more joy up the right-hand side, haven't they, than up the left, Newcastle?
Yeah, they've got Murphy in a few times up that right side.
Nico O'Reilly back to Max Allain, who is 20 years of age. He's from Bristol. They got him from through their academy, Allain, and loaned him out to Watford. Not the tallest centre back. Botman sliding in on Semenyo and winning a throw out off the Man City winger.
He needed to make that, didn't he?
Hall near to the edge of Newcastle's box, in line with it almost, with the throw. Here's Joelinton holding off his man inside to Bruno, then on to Chow. 28 minutes on the clock. Chow, it's up to halfway, but straight to Ake, just ahead of Ramsey, and Murphy was about 5 yards away from it. So a good idea, but it lacked accuracy. Back to Trafford. Square to Allain, who doesn't look phased or daunted by the prospect of playing in the semi-final here. Cut out by Miley. It was Ake's attempted pass forwards. Bruno Guimaraes. Gordon's gone offside, so he holds on to the ball, and it comes infield from Ramsey, and Newcastle have lost it now. Joelinton charging back and blocking the through ball, and Ramsey coming into a challenge and winning a free kick, making amends for that misplaced pass. Joelinton to Bruno. Does he get a free kick? Yes, he does. It's hard to hear the whistle. They took a quick free kick to Bruno, who had 3 blue shirts around him, knocked it away from one, and then got poleaxed. And I thought the referee had let it go. Bruno has got a free kick, and it's Newcastle United 0, Manchester City now. So he does get that one.
Yeah. That was a nailed-on free kick, wasn't it? Just obstructed him.
Bruno wanted it short. He was in the middle of the centre half. It's Chow to Botman instead, and that's clipped out towards Murphy. Ake intercepts. Miley's got it, and now Chow's got it, and it's back to Pope. Takes a touch, passes it to the left to Botman, on to Hall. Newcastle. Hall towards Joelinton is too high. Didn't really stand a chance of getting it through to Trafford. Listen to BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Remember, you can hear all the latest Newcastle United analysis from BBC Sounds. Hang on, here's a pushing and shoving incident. Joelinton involved. 2 Manchester City players. Looks like Mateus Nunes. And the referee and maybe VAR will have to get involved. There's Chris Kavanagh flinging his arms away at most of the players. The majority have gone to him. Bruno is there as Joelinton gets a yellow card, and so too does Nico O'Reilly. Both players booked.
I didn't see what happened.
O'Reilly had his hands on Joe Linton. They were just a bit of pushing. O'Reilly pushed Joe Linton and then seemed to catch his ear. Joe Linton pushed him in the chest. They're both being booked. I was telling you, if you go to BBC Sound, search Newcastle United and hit subscribe, you'll be notified when new episodes are available. Post-match reaction, podcasts, other interviews on BBC Sound. Search for Newcastle United and hit subscribe. 0-0. City getting booed because they're not taking the free kick. Now they have, and Botman gets up to head it out. Still the big moment is the Johan Wissa miss. After what, 5 minutes, Sando?
Yeah. It's been the best chance of the match, hasn't it?
Doku deep in midfield to Ake. Foden, who has 10 goals this season, out to Doku. Back inside to Foden. Central position now with Alain in Newcastle's half. Semenyo on the near touch line. And Kuzanov to Alain. Inside to O'Reilly on halfway. Bruno closest. You used the word cagey before, and
yeah,
it still feels like that, doesn't it? And there's a turn from Mateus Nunes. Botman had come out of position and followed him. But Mateus Nunes finds Semenyo, who comes inside away from Hall, and Botman plays it now into the path of Lewis Hall, who can't go forwards, decides to turn back. Then he comes inside, then gets away and wins a free kick. And they're on their feet next to us, screaming for a yellow card.
Every time somebody makes a challenge, they're on their feet wanting a yellow card.
But cagey being the word,
yeah,
and it still feels that way.
It does, yeah. Yeah, still feeling each other out, aren't they?
No goals. Hall back to Botman, has to lift it onto Wissa, helped on. No one went beyond. Nice little knock on actually from Wissa. Foden comes to get it in space. Back to Nunes, former Wolves player. Now Kuzanov to O'Reilly. Bruno made him play it quickly. He's found Mateus Nunes inside, back to O'Reilly on halfway. Left-footed ball. It's a stronger foot, but it's onto the head of Lewis Miley. Bruno is there, and it's Murphy, and back to Miley. And now Bruno out on the right in their half, Newcastle, but looking to come forwards with Jacob Ramsey. Gets away from one and is then tackled right on the line, and then makes a tackle himself and wins a throw. When he has made lost the ball, he has recovered by winning it back, Jacob Ramsey. And it's been decent so far. Hall gets a throw off Semenyo. They are seeming a little bit frustrated that they can't get the ball up the pitch quickly more often.
Two wide players are dropping so deep, though it's difficult for them to get into advanced positions.
Header on by Joe Linton. Wissa gets to the ball on halfway, but the next touch is off a Manchester City player. Kuzanov back to Trafford. Wissa closing down. High kick with distance as well from Trafford. Chow there, beating Haaland to it. Hall's got it now, threatening to go on one of those runs. He's away from Semenyo. Bruno takes it, now finds Ramsey, and away they go up the line to Murphy. 20 yards out. Jacob Murphy taking on Ake. Heads for the goal line, lifts in a cross that Trafford claims at his near post.
Poor ball.
Trafford holding on to it. Aaron Ramsdale got penalised for that at the weekend, didn't he?
Did.
8 seconds. Chow beats Haaland to it, then on to Ramsey. Options up ahead, but Ramsey turns and it's pulled by Ake, still keeps possession, finds Murphy. Inside comes Jacob Murphy. One touch too many. Tackled, but out for throw. 25 yards away from City's goal. 0-0. Miley back to Chow. far side of the pitch, into Botman in the centre circle. It's got to go square to Hall, and up the line to Gordon, who brings it back and plays it to Botman, nothing risky. Botman, angled ball to Bruno, centre circle, and he lifts it up. Great ball for Murphy, right wing. Now Miley playing a bit here, Newcastle, having a decent spell with a couple of attacks. This is the latest one. Bruno to Hall, plays it against Bernardo Silva, but it runs for Chow. And Miley, Botman wants it on halfway. He's the free man and gets it as he drops back into his own half. Now up to Joelinton, takes a touch, comes out wide left for Gordon. 30 yards out, running at Mateus Nunes. Gordon gets away and gets, well, a free kick from a sliding challenge from Mateus Nunes. Gets sent flying, and out comes the yellow card.
Yeah.
Gordon decided to beat him for pace, and he did with the ball.
Yeah, if you're going to go to ground, you have to win the ball, and he's got nowhere near it. You can have no complaints.
Mateus Nunes. Cheers greet the yellow card because they've wanted one of those for the City players all night. Gordon run almost got him in, but the sliding leg and boot of Nunes took him down. Free kick, probably 10 yards from the goal line and 5 yards in from the left touch line. City bring everybody back. Bruno Guimaraes to take it. He looks for the near post. It's gone behind for a corner. Off Nunes, who tried to clear it and missed his kick, but it clipped him maybe on the back leg. Bruno, now he has tried again since the Burnley match to score from a corner. He has got targets in the box that he can hit and pick out from this. 38 minutes, first leg of the semi-final. Bruno's corner kick, back post, Trafford pushes it away, Gordon's got it, City volley it clear through O'Reilly, and Hall there has miscued his attempted clearance. Doku dispossessed by Ramsey, Gordon back to Hall, and they've recovered defensively there. Now
Ramsey
play it
did
back
great.
to Pope from what could have been a nightmare situation. Pope long ball, Miley trying to head on, Ake's there, Joelinton's got it on the floor in midfield, up to Murphy, only Wissa in the middle, Bruno makes a forward run, Murphy plays it off Doku and wins a throw on halfway. You were saying about the Ramsey recovery.
Yeah, great recovery, wasn't it?
Botman to Hall and back, edge of Newcastle's box. Botman looks for Wissa in space in the centre circle. He's taken a touch, then beaten his man. Oh, and played it too straight, and he beats his hands off the turf in frustration. He took it well, turned brilliantly. Gordon was on his way up the left wing, but he played it in between the two centre backs rather than giving it at an angle for Gordon to run onto. Botman, lovely control on the chest. Hall, Semenyo all over him. Hall is cut inside, gets a free kick because Semenyo pulled him back. Semenyo, with his arms outstretched, looks at the referee and asks what he'd done wrong. What about the Wissa turn there? That was good centre forward play, but not the pass.
Good ball played into him, wasn't it? Turns well, sees the run of Gordon, just gets too much on it.
I think the last 5 minutes plus has been really good, actually, because prior to that Manchester City were dominating possession. Would you agree?
Yeah, all of a sudden they've got control of the ball. They're starting to hang on to it a little bit.
Ball from halfway, but it's straight into the hands of Trafford, who kicks from his hands quickly, and Doku trying to run in behind. Ramsey is there, so is Hall, and Lewis Hall gets between man and ball. Nearly got dispossessed, but he held off Doku, having beaten him initially. And Miley comes up to halfway. Newcastle United 0-0 with Manchester City. On BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Botman from Bruno's pass. Diagonal from Botman. Ooh, it's hit Bernardo Silva. Unfortunately, it ran to Malik Chow. Then inside into midfield. They've lost it. Phil Foden. Forced back to O'Reilly. Haven't given it away cheaply like that too often in their own half, but causes anxiety around St James's Park, doesn't it? They've got Bernardo Silva in space on the right. Gordon comes back to him. Bernardo Silva inside for Foden. And back to Alain and now O'Reilly. 0-0. 4 minutes of first half football plus added on time to go. Bernardo Silva, ball at his feet. Plays it with the outside of his left to Semenyo, right wing. Kuzanov. Haaland standing in front of Botman. Mateus Nunes is up there as an extra centre forward in this move. He's the right back. Semenyo. Gordon and Hall are there. Joelinton nearby. It's rolled inside to Foden. It's still outside the box, City, but it's with Ake. Now he lifts it in. Botman heads up. They need to win the second header, which Botman does. And now Jacob Ramsey into the path of Jacob Murphy and up to halfway. Lots of blue shirts getting back. Joelinton being pulled by Foden. Murphy comes inside and gets tackled by Doku.
Got to be stronger.
Foden to O'Reilly and back again. Slow possession around the halfway line. Alain inside to O'Reilly, back to the young centre half, facing his own goal, and plays it the way that he's facing. Trafford gives it back to him. He's in the box now and strides out and into midfield. Wissa trying to stop him from going any further, but can't. Botman cuts out the pass. Hall is there, takes a touch, comes across into midfield. Hall still got it, and Murphy was on his heels, but he was actually offside, which might have been why he didn't really make the move. Flag goes up. Lewis Hall doing that again, where he carries it so well, runs often across a tight area. They're looking to run at him now, Manchester City, with Semenyo into the box, heads for the goal line, hangs up across, nobody there. Miley's got to deal with it because Doku was arriving late at the far side of the penalty box. They cleared it, but still have to stay back and defend. O'Reilly square to Foden, right side of central midfield to the feet of Semenyo. Back inside to Foden. Bruno comes out to close him down. O'Reilly on, Botman away. No black and white shirt nearby, but they've cleared the danger just past halfway. Kuzanov comes into midfield. Square to O'Reilly. And Ake, the short pass to O'Reilly. They play a couple of balls between them. Those two. Foden now has it. And supporters recognising the team still, as always, need their backing, but without the ball, trying to give them a bit more noise. Final minute of the opening 45, still 0-0. Wissa with a glorious chance after about 5 minutes that he put over. Here's Ake for City. Newcastle trying to defend properly here. At the end of the first half, here's Hall from the cross. It hit him and he couldn't prevent the corner. Back post.
Yeah, he dug out a good cross, didn't he? Just dropped the shoulder, left foot cross. Good defending.
Stopped it reaching a Manchester City player, and already it went behind because he couldn't keep it in with a second touch. Jacob Murphy's gone down and he has been carrying an injury, which is why he was left out of the squad. Nathan Ake gives him a pat on the back. Physio's come on, so he'll have to go off, Murphy, even just temporarily. Numbers board, 0-0, 45 minutes played, shows
1 minute.
The number one, but obviously with Murphy down, getting treatment, there could be more additional time. Send us your messages about the first half if you want to WhatsApp us, put BBC at the start. And here's the number, 08000 321 333. 08000 321 333. Put BBC at the start. Let us know what you think of the tactics, the selection that Eddie Howe made with 7 changes, and probably have some words about the Wissa missed opportunity early on. Murphy's on his feet, but going to have to go off, so going to be a man short for the corner. If you prefer to text us, 81333. 81333. Also start it with BBC. Harvey Barnes is coming on. Jacob Murphy can play no further part. He's put some crosses in. He's got up and down and got into great positions. Probably should have an assist, but Wissa missed the chance. And now the man of the moment, Harvey Barnes, left out tonight because of fatigue, is on. So at least they're not 10v11 from the corner, or 9v10 in terms of outfield. Jacob Murphy applauds the Milburn stand on his way towards the bench and the tunnel as Phil Foden sends in a corner, back post. Hall is there, heads away. Barnes goes to chase. Bernardo Silva nods it down to Doku. To the referee, really, how long we play on for. Doku trying to send in another cross. Paul manages to deflect it behind. Jacob Murphy heads down the tunnel, as his colleagues and the staff will be doing so shortly. Got to see out this additional period at the end of the first half and defend another corner, 0-0. We'll get Ando's view on the first 45 in a moment. Hopefully nothing will change. Haaland makes a run away from Chow, near post, tries to flick it on, and Ake deflected.
Another corner.
From Haaland's little touch on, back to goal, tried to turn it on target, but deflected up and away. And a third Manchester City corner in first half added on time, in a third minute of first half added on time. Doku, right-footed in-swinger. Botman tried to flick it away, it hit Hall, and then Foden lifts it up. Joelinton header, Hall tries to clear, but there's half-time. 0-0 after 45 minutes plus in the first leg of the League Cup semi-final at St James's Park, John Anderson.
Yeah, very cagey, isn't it? Both sides showing a lot of respect for each other. Manchester City doing what you expect Manchester City to do. They've got plenty of the ball, they're moving it from side to side. We're getting so many black and white shorts behind the ball. I mean, there's times when we've got 11 players within 25 yards of our own goal. Kept our shape well, been disciplined, defended better. But it means that your wide boys can't get up the pitch because we're defending so deep, but it's really cagey, and it's all to play for in this second half.
And quickly, when they did, the best example, both wide players were involved. Gordon played a great ball across the pitch. Murphy then across to Wissa, who I thought was offside, but he wasn't. And he took the touch and with his left lifted it over from close range. It's a bad miss.
Best chance of the half. Manchester City have had a couple of balls flash across goal, but that was probably the best chance of the half. To be fair to him, when you see it again, he doesn't really get it out of his feet. He doesn't get it out of his feet enough, and he just slashes at it a little bit, and it flies high over the top. But it was the best chance of the half for us, no doubt about it.
He looked like a centre forward that was perhaps lacking in confidence a bit there, Johan Wissa, when that chance came. That's the best chance of the half, as Ando says. Second 45 to come here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. We'll have more discussion about the first half in just a moment. Stay with us during the interval. They've lost Jacob Murphy to injury as well. Harvey Barnes on in his place. But half-time, Newcastle United 0, Manchester City 0.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
We're all a little bit tired today in the studio. I went to weigh my nuts this morning and I decant the nuts. Right, so what I know. What I always do in the morning is I have a large jar of nuts, right? I decant 100 grams of almond and cashews into a smaller pot.
Context.
Yeah. Anyway, what I did this morning, instead of weighing the nuts I was decanting, I just weighed the pot. This story's gone.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
And this is Simon Pride at St James's Park. 0-0 at half-time then in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final against Manchester City. Harvey Barnes has stayed on the pitch just to do a bit more warming up ahead of his participation in the second half, having come on as a very late first half sub for Jacob Murphy. John Anderson, the former Newcastle fullback, still with me. Very much, Ando, the first act of a 4-act play in a way, kind of just setting the scene, sounding each other out a little bit, and yeah, it's been entertaining to watch, but a game of few clear-cut chances.
Like a chess game, isn't it?
A little bit, yes.
Very much like a chess game. Both sides showing each other an awful lot of respect. Manchester City passing the ball, keeping the ball well, moving it from side to side. We're being disciplined, getting plenty of black and white shorts behind the ball, closing down space, giving Manchester City no room in behind. Yeah, it's finely balanced.
Lewis Hall's had a cracking first half. He's so good on the ball, isn't he?
Excellent on the ball. He turns away from people. He's done a great job on Semenyo. Semenyo's never been able to get at him. Gordon has doubled up. He's got back and he's filled areas and helped them out from a defensive point of view, but he's just so good on the ball. He uses it well. He's bought 1 or 2 free kicks as well. But yeah, it's finely balanced.
Yes, no shots on target, a couple of deflected efforts that have gone behind. I've been watching Haaland. He barely moves, does he? He kind of strolls around,
kick, he?
And he strolls around the D a couple of times.
He just walks into areas, doesn't
but you know that he can explode into life. That's the thing about him.
Yeah.
So start to think, well, it's not his day, and take your eye off him. Do that at your peril.
Well, yeah. I mean, he just walks into areas. He very rarely gets involved in the Manchester City build-up. They very rarely look to hit him in the build-up play. It goes through Silva, it goes through Foden. O'Reilly's getting on the ball. He's playing at the base of that tree as a holding midfield player. But yeah, you definitely can't afford to take your eye off Foden.
How big a blow is it that Murphy has gone off, bearing in mind that informed Barnes has come on?
Look, he's been carrying a little bit of a knock. They've taken a chance on him. It looks like that's backfired, but it hasn't been weakened with Barnes coming on, that's for sure.
No, the way that he's playing. Yeah. Ando, thank you very much indeed for now. Ando will be back with Razor to take you through the second half. Steve in Leam Lane has sent a message saying, I'm enjoying most of what I've been seeing so far. That early chance that Wissa had, I think he should have hit it first time and not taken the touch. Wonder if he's just not playing with the confidence with which he played last season for Brentford. He's got his Newcastle career started. He has been on the score sheet, but you just don't feel that he's quite at the level of sharpness he was last season, which is understandable given the injury that he had. But take your point there, Steve. If you do want to send a message, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp, 81333 on text. Start your message with the letters BBC, and we'd love to hear you this evening. And don't forget, we will be on air until 10:30 after the game this evening too, so I'll be able to put some more of your points to Ando then, and we'll take some of your calls then as well. Now then, Newcastle United's women take on West Ham on Friday night in the 4th round of the Women's FA Cup, that taking place at the Gateshead International Stadium, with the Hammers struggling towards the bottom of WSL. Could be a good opportunity for Newcastle. I had a chat just before tonight's game with Lois Joel, the Newcastle midfielder, who is here to watch this match tonight, and I put it to her, with her old side West Ham in a bit of a pickle towards the bottom of their division, and Newcastle on a good run of form in WSL too, well, it probably doesn't feel like Newcastle are the underdogs.
No, we're really excited for it, and like you said, we've got into some good form. It took us a while to find our feet in the league, but we'd had some good results before Christmas, so we'll be looking to kick on against West Ham. Yeah,
so what's the key going into this game then? What's the key to beating a team like West Ham, who, I mean, you know them well, you used to play for them. I don't know how well you know the players that are there now, but what do you feel is the most important aspect of this game?
I think, we'll definitely do our homework on them, but not to overcomplicate it, and definitely stick to our game plan and play to our strengths. And, we're at home, and like you said, they're not in the best of form, but I'm sure they still got a lot of talent, a lot of internationals, and yeah, just not to overcomplicate it and just try and, stick to our fundamentals.
You're not going to tell me what the game plan is, are you?
Absolutely not.
Why would you? But these are great games though, aren't they? And especially when you're going into them in a run of good form, which you have been in the league.
Yeah, we're so excited for it, and I think a message will be, to the girls of just not to put too much pressure on it. There's no pressure on us, as much as we want to win, and we will compete, definitely. I think more of the pressure will be on West Ham to get a result.
It feels like there's probably still a bit of a gap between the very best teams in the WSL and the other sides. Maybe that is closing, but everyone else, you must feel that you're competitive against the sides, certainly in the bottom half of that division. It's the division after all, that you want to be in next season. So with that in mind, this is a really good gauge of where you're at, isn't it?
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better, really. That's where we're striving to be in the WSL, and it'll be a great matchup for us, a good test. There's playoff spots to play for this year, and hopefully our goal is promotion in the top 2. But this, sets the ground for the future, and it'll be a really good measure of where we are, and I'm sure we can come out on top.
What do you know about West Ham? I'm sure all the homework's been done, and you probably do know a bit more about them than some of the others.
Yeah, they look like a really good in possession team when they've got the ball. They do have a lot of quality, and the results necessarily haven't been there for them, but they've had a lot of change just like we have, so we know what it's like. And the team's actually changed a lot since I've been there, so not many people to say hi to, I'm afraid. No inside knowledge in that regard, but yeah.
Does it make it a bit more special for you personally though, because it is one of your former teams?
Yeah, definitely. West Ham's where I made my competitive professional debut, so definitely fond memories of being there, and it's always exciting. It has an extra bit of edge when you play a team that you've played when you play against a team that you've played with before. So yeah, I'm super excited on that personal note, and I know the girls are excited as well.
How much have you enjoyed your time in the North East so far?
Yeah, I've absolutely loved it. It's such a special place up here, and it's really hard to kind of put into words the culture and the feeling of the city, and you just really feel the support from everyone here, and that's different from other teams I've played for. I really feel the support, and they just love getting behind us when we do well, and it's great.
And obviously you would love to have a big crowd behind you this weekend, or Friday night I should say, it goes without saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Get yourself down to Gateshead. We're really excited for it. We want to play exciting football and get a good result, and get yourself down there and wrap up warm.
How have you found life working under Tanya?
Yeah, really good. I mean, change is always a bit scary, and we've kind of hit the ground running with her, and she's brought in her ideas, her identity, and bits on culture, and we've adapted now, and we're ready to kick on.
And finally, I'm just going to ask you about tonight's game. Now, I'm going to be playing this interview out at half-time. We're chatting ahead of the game, so I'm not going to ask you for a prediction because, if it's not going the way you thought at half-time, then that sounds a bit silly. But what do you feel that the Newcastle team needs to do tonight in order to just have a chance of progressing to another final?
Yeah, I think we just need to play to our strengths, be aggressive, be attacking, try and get them on the break. And I think Harvey Barnes is going to come on as a sub and score the winner.
And
so I hope that ages well.
How much are you able to? I mean, I don't know if it happened last season that you were able to feed off some of the buzz that went around the team getting to Wembley and ultimately winning at Wembley last season. But you're one club, very much so now. And so I guess, of course, if you're doing well, it affects everybody else. If they're doing well, it affects everybody else as well.
Yeah, definitely. We love, watching the men, and I'm just a fan at the end of the day before I was a footballer. So when the men are doing well, it definitely helps us too. And we love seeing the buzz of the city. And yeah, it was crazy when they went to the final last time and won it. It was just unbelievable being in and around it. Great experience. So hopefully they can do it again.
And if Harvey Barnes does what you say he'll do in this second half, we're going to get you back on again to do more predictions.
Absolutely. Get me in.
All the very best against West Ham. And thanks very much, Lois, for talking to us.
Thanks, guys.
That was Lois Joel. Well, she's half right already, isn't she? Because Harvey Barnes now is on. She thinks he will score the winner in the second half. And the goal-scoring form that he's in, why not? The second half is coming up very shortly. Harvey Barnes was doing a bit of extra work out on the pitch. He's now gone back into the dressing room. The other Newcastle subs, though, are out in their luminous yellow vests and black tracksuits, going through their paces ahead of this second half. Goalless at half-time between Newcastle United and Manchester City. but we're only a quarter of the way through this semi-final, this two-legged semi-final. Let me tell you about some other scores. Not much else going on in terms of the Football League or other cup ties. Obviously the second semi-final, the first leg of that between Arsenal and Chelsea, takes place tomorrow. But there are some games in the Northern Premier League East Division involving our teams. Blythe Spartans are going well at half-time. They lead Bridlington Town by 2-1. And Dunstan are also in action, not going so well for them into the second half there, and they trail Hallam by 3-1. And Consett also in action, they're away at Ossett United and into the second half there as well, and Consett are trailing by 2-1. A few more football stories to tell you about today as well. This one's actually caused a little bit of a stir in terms of some of the messages that we have received. Not everybody agrees, let's put it that way. The Sunderland defender Dan Ballard has been named North East Football Writers Player of the Year, the first Sunderland player to win it in 9 years. He says he is incredibly honoured, and quite a few people getting in touch tonight from a Newcastle perspective. Can't believe that Dan Byrne didn't win it, but Dan Ballard has got that award, so congratulations to him. Congratulations too to Lewis Miley, who won the Young Player of the Year award. Katie Kitching of Sunderland has been named Women's Player of the Year, and fellow Black Cat Katie Watson Young Player of the Year. And VAR errors have risen in the first half of the Premier League season. Data collected by the BBC Sport team taken from the Premier League's key match incidents panel shows mistakes have increased 30% season on season from 10 to 13. So that's you up to date with all the other football stories of the day. This is set up intriguingly. It is goalless at half-time between Newcastle United and Manchester City. First leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. It is all to play for, and the second half is coming up in just a moment.
Total Sport North East.
Live at Wembley.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
That's a bit optimistic, isn't it? Maybe we will be live at Wembley in March for the League Cup final, which, by the way, is scheduled for the weekend of the derby, Newcastle United against Sunderland here at St James's Park. 21st and 22nd for the derby, final on the Sunday, the 22nd. So maybe we will be able to use that jingle again, or perhaps for the FA Cup for Newcastle or Sunderland or both. Who knows? Both still in the competition. Away ties in the next round. Tonight it's League Cup and it's 0-0 at half time at St James's against Manchester City. And here they are, ready for another 45. We are a quarter of the way through the tie, or maybe a bit less actually, because it could go to extra time and penalties next month. No changes at the break. Newcastle had already brought Barnes on for Murphy at the end of the first half because of injury. So Pope, Miley, Chow, Botman, Hall, Ramsey, Bruno, Joelinton, Barnes right, Gordon left, Wissa up front. City, Trafford in goal, Nunez, Kuzanov, Alain and Ake. O'Reilly holding midfielder, Semenyo, Bernardo Silva, Foden, Doku, Haaland up front. Newcastle shooting towards the Gallagher end. The goal to the right, down the hill, second half, the way they like it. And they get a throw. Hall, east stand, far side, gets it back from Joelinton, beats his man. There's a tackle, but no foul. And now Chow at the other end. Back to Pope, closed down by Semenyo, who was leading the chase there through the middle for City. O'Reilly climbs above Bruno. Haaland chests it to Foden. Bruno has pushed Haaland over. 25 to 30 yards from goal, left of centre. And the whistle from referee Chris Kavanagh has gone for a Manchester City free kick. And it is about 30 yards out. And Bruno tried to get back at him, put his hand on his shoulder and neck. Probably not the position, Ando, for a shot, you would say, but
I think so. Too far out.
Yeah, just saw Ando's microphone out so that we can hear him properly in this second half as City prepare the free kick. Bernardo Silva walks away. Foden is now behind it, ready to take, and he rolls it about 10 yards to the left to Bernardo Silva. And now it's Doku. Barnes there. Doku's cross headed out by Lewis Miley. It's now about 35 yards from the goal, headed forwards on by City. Joelinton there. Yeah, out to the left touchline. Bruno up the line towards halfway, sent forwards again. Hall went to challenge Semenyo, who slipped, and then
he's played well again tonight, hasn't he, young Hall?
It went the way of City because although Semenyo slipped, it rebounded off Hall and went out. Bernardo Silva to the feet of Jeremy Doku, middle of Newcastle's half. Back inside it comes, and now Ake. Ponytail hairstyle, Nathan Ake. Back to Alain. And now Kuzanov. City, their outfield player furthest back, is midway up Newcastle's half. They drop a little bit here. Wisser goes to close down. Alain, who stumbled slightly and then turned from halfway to play it to Trafford. Has a touch, chips it forwards into midfield, has missed out Newcastle players. Jacob Ramsey looks around with his arms outstretched and wonders how Bernardo Silva was all alone. He's brought the ball forwards and played it wide right to the feet of Semenyo. Now back to Kuzanov, inside to O'Reilly. 30 yards from the goal, Foden central position. Sent over to Doku on the near side. Into the box, Jeremy Doku, little touches. Back to Ake, dangerous cross. And almost an own goal off Anthony Gordon. Nick Pope diving to his left, keeps it out.
Oh, didn't know a great deal about it, Gordon, did he? Ball played in. Just bounces off him.
Ball to Gordon, Joelinton back to Botman. Joelinton here brings it back towards the box, lifts it out to Chow, playing it across his own penalty area. Chow with Haaland on him, and out it goes, City throw.
Ball did him no favours, did it?
Ake, back it goes to Alain on halfway. O'Reilly comes to get it. Looks already like an elite level player, doesn't he? O'Reilly moves so well with and without the ball. A mature performance. He's played it straight onto the chest of Jacob Ramsey, out to Barnes, back to Miley, and now Pope has to get it away first time. Bruno helps it forwards. Joelinton fouled, but play on. Mateus Nunes with the challenge. They get it to Bruno over halfway now for Gordon. Head down and forwards he goes. Wisser in the centre, Barnes back post, lifted in, Wisser! Oh, great save, clawed away from underneath the crossbar by Trafford, and Hall makes a challenge in the box to keep it alive for Newcastle. Back to Bruno, gets the shot away, hits the post, is it? Or was it another save? City tried to clear it, it hits a Newcastle player, and Trafford's got it again. Two massive moments at the start of the second half, and for all, Wisser should have done better with his effort in the first. He had the header there, the looping header that was almost in, and then Bruno on the follow-up so close. Jacob Ramsey strong challenge on halfway and out for a throw.
Oh, good save.
And Bruno did hit the post. It wasn't saved by Trafford. That's encouraging, John Anderson, isn't it?
For all the play and all the ball that Manchester City have, they do leave themselves very, very open to counter-attacks.
Head injury for Jacob Ramsey, who after making that sliding challenge on Doku on halfway to put it out for a throw, got back up. There was just an accidental collision, and then realised realised he needed some help, went down and is now lying down. He'd gone down on his haunches initially. He's had a good game. Johan Wisser looking frustrated that the chances aren't going in. You saw it again, the Trafford save. How close is it to dropping in? Is it right in the corner as well? Or?
He's helped it onto the crossbar.
Oh.
He's got a touch on it, helps it onto the crossbar and comes back. Comes to Bruno, whips it across Trafford, smacks the post.
Big moments in the tie, and they've got to take their chances. Sandro Tonali's warming up now. Hopefully Jacob Ramsey will be all right. Can't afford any more injuries.
He's played well tonight. He's got around the pitch well, hasn't he? Got around the park well.
Gordon played the ball in. It was a really good curling cross from the left with his right. A bit like the ball he played in for Barnes in extra time on Saturday into that area.
There wasn't a great deal of pace on it though.
Yeah.
He's done well to get a loopy header on it. It looked like it was going to do Trafford, and he gets fingertips of his right hand onto it, touches it onto the crossbar.
Newcastle United 0, Manchester City 0. Jacob Ramsey's off the pitch after the treatment for the head injury. 53rd minute, Doku taking on Barnes, goes into the box, low cross, turned in. Manchester City score, and it's Antoine Semenyo. 2 goals in 2 City appearances, and it goes in with Newcastle down to 10 men temporarily, with Ramsey off the pitch having received treatment. There's nothing they can do about that, nothing they can do about the rule to stop Semenyo playing, having represented Bournemouth in an earlier round. He's not cup tied after a rule change, and he's turned the ball in from close range, and Newcastle United trail by a goal to 0 in the 54th minute.
Doku does well, doesn't he? Drops his shoulder and just goes past Barnes, and he whips it in first time. Not too sure who helps it on. Oh, Silva helps it on.
It's the key touch from Bernardo Silva to...
It just shows you though, at one end, keeper makes a save, and we hit the crossbar, and what? Minute and a bit later, you're a goal behind.
Yeah, big double chance after a big opportunity missed in the first half as well, and now they're behind. It's the first time they've trailed in the League Cup since the final that they lost to Man United 3 years ago. And we can hear the Manchester City fans now. BBC Radio Newcastle losing 1-0. Bruno, couple of challenges. Wisser tries to get there, sent forwards by Kuzanov. Hall back to Pope. Haaland goes into the box to close down. First time ball away from the keeper. Header backwards from O'Reilly. Wisser had come to challenge, so he wasn't there. Now it's played to Trafford. Botman wants to tackle Semenyo. Hall and Joelinton are there too. Antoine Semenyo plays it back to Matheus Nunes, and O'Reilly front of the centre circle, square to Foden. And Manchester City, who've delivered a big blow to Newcastle, playing the ball around, and now in the box with Doku, the creator of the first, before that flick on from Bernardo Silva took it into the path of Semenyo. Had a deflected cross there. He's got it again though. Looking to get past Miley, plays it back to Ake, and now O'Reilly. Foden stopped by Joelinton. Barnes to Miley, chip forwards to Bruno, got the ball down, looks for Barnes again, onto Ramsey, back to Miley. There's no space, they can't get out. Manchester City not giving them any room at all. Pope took another touch in the box, there was a groan, he cleared it up to halfway. Forwards from City, Hall brings it down and he starts to move, finds the feet of Gordon, just past halfway, needs runners up ahead. He's got black and white shirts in advanced positions, comes inside to Ramsey, back to Joelinton, and now Miley. Brought forwards by Miley, still has it. Not a lot of room for anybody to come and get the ball. Miley gets it back from Chow, up the line to Barnes. Miley to Chow, and now Botman. In the Newcastle half, Sven Botman need some ideas. Up it goes to Joelinton, takes a touch, turns it out to the feet of Gordon. Hall goes on the outside, Gordon plays it into the box, Wisser makes a run, Wisser, it's blocked, Joelinton gets there, plays it against the defender, Gordon and Hall edge of the area, and now Bruno low shot straight at Trafford.
Better. Hits it well enough, straight to keeper though.
Botman climbs, beats Semenyo in the air. Joelinton tries to help it on. Gordon takes it down halfway. Comes on the outside. Knocks it past one player, but Mateus Nunes is covering. Pings a back pass to the feet of Trafford. Bernardo Silva, that's an interesting back pass. It's gone out for a corner. Went across his goal. It was never threatening to go in, but he's fired it with his left first time behind Alain, and a corner.
Mind you, Trafford fizzed it at him, didn't he?
He's made one big save, James Trafford. Newcastle have hit the post, and that was a double chance shortly before Manchester City went into the lead, 1-0. Hall puts his right arm in the air, delivers the corner, back post. Oh, they're claiming for something, and it's a corner. Trafford came, it was right towards the back post.
He didn't get anything on it, the keeper, did he?
Great corner kick, and there was a crowd of players who all went for the ball, and it's a corner. Going to be in-swinging corner from Bruno, left side. A deep one. Trafford punches, he did well that time. Doku comes out for the ball, Hall gets in front of him and sees it out for a throw.
He's been brilliant tonight. It's been excellent tonight, Doku.
Manchester City triple
Lewis
change
Hall
coming, but Lewis Hall.
Yeah, he's been excellent. First class.
Botman. They go back to defence Newcastle with the ball in front of the penalty area. Bruno with it here, chipping it into the City half. Miley, oh what a first touch from Miley, that's fantastic, but his forward path is blocked. He's then played it against Ake. Doku's got it back, and Miley slides in on Doku, tries to make another challenge, but Bernardo Silva has helped it on to Doku, and Manchester City with it on the floor in Newcastle territory. Back they go to the centre circle to Alain, and then Mateus Nunes has slipped away from Joelinton. Tries to find the feet of Haaland just inside the area, laid off, and a blocked shot that is then put behind by Chow.
Oh, he's bringing reinforcements on as well, isn't he? Reinders and Rodri.
Here they go, the changes. Nico O'Reilly goes off. Rodri comes on.
He's played well, Riley.
Tijani Reinders, the midfielder signed from Milan in the summer, is also coming on, and he will replace Phil Foden. And Rico Lewis will be the third player for Manchester City to come on here. And it's Mateus Nunes, so it is a defender for a makeshift fullback. And those are the three changes. 1-0 to Manchester City. Semenyo with a tap-in after Doku's cross was diverted into his path by Bernardo Silva in the 53rd minute. Corner for City. They've scored again, and it's Semenyo again. Looks like a back heel from a deep corner kick from Reinders. His first touch, Tijani Reinders, was to deliver a corner that has been put in by Antoine Semenyo again. And the League Cup semi-final is getting away from Newcastle United. 63 minutes in the first leg. Newcastle United 0, Manchester City 2.
They just don't deal with the corner, do we? It's just whipped in. I'm not too sure what part of his body. A lot of bodies in there where it comes off. Oh, he backheels it. It's clever. Very clever.
That's what £65 million gets you, and that's what a rule change to enable players to play for two clubs in the League Cup in the same season. If this was in previous years, he would not be playing. Eddie Howe spoke about it before the match. It's not really a rule change he supports, but Semenyo has scored twice. Manchester City lead 2-0. They haven't kicked off again. I don't know why. Possible offside for a VAR check. Maybe they'll be rescued by VAR, but we'll see. The TV screen that we have on our desk in the commentary box is too small to see in any detail unless they zoom right in. Is it Haaland who's in between goalkeeper, defender, after it's touched by Semenyo.
Well, Semenyo's not offside.
It's Haaland, isn't it? His positioning. VAR is Stuart Atwell, assisted by Craig Taylor. The referee is Chris Kavanagh, and the green and white EFL Carabao Cup graphics are on the giant screen at the Leazes end, telling us that a VAR check is ongoing for a possible offside. Is it whether Haaland's ahead of the goalkeeper? They're having a good look at this. Well, they've got the semi-automated offside technology.
Well, it shouldn't take so long then, should it?
Semenyo's flick, I think, took a touch. I don't know if it went in off Haaland. Pep Guardiola, outstretched arms, looks in the direction of the referee. Newcastle surround him. It's 2-0 to Manchester City if this stands. Midway through the second half in the first leg. They hope and they'll be praying that this gets chalked off. And we're still waiting on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds.
Shouldn't take this long.
Nathan Ake goes to the fourth official and asks what's going on. We are just waiting. There will be an announcement from the referee if it's caught, if it doesn't count. The fact that they're being so precise over it shows that they are taking time and care, but it's not meant to take this long, is it? And if it's clear and obvious, but offside is a matter of fact, isn't it? So they have to get it right. And we can't tell you any more because we don't have any communication.
We haven't got a clue
from VAR or from the referees. Conversations through their earpieces. Newcastle 0, Manchester City 2 if this goal stands, but the VAR check continues. They really need it chalked off. They need it disallowed to boost their chances of turning around this semi-final two-legged tie. We're still waiting at St James's Park.
This is a joke, though. They've got everything they need, and they still can't make their mind up.
We can see that there's a camera on the VAR officials. Wissa challenges Semenyo for the ball. Haaland is there next to Chow and Pope, and it's a VAR check for offside.
How long's it been now?
And we're
It's got to
still
be
waiting.
5 minutes, is it? 5 minutes?
He's offside. It's offside. It's offside. The graphics have come up and they've said offside. But hang on, the referee's now being sent to the monitor. It said offside with the red line on the screen that we have, but they've sent Chris Kavanagh to the monitor.
What have they sent him to the monitor for?
For a matter of fact. Offside? What is it about interfering with play? So did he interfere with play, seems to be the question. I mean, you would argue he's standing with a defender who could block it, impeding the defender's ability to clear the ball. So they've determined that he's offside, but what they're trying to work out is whether he was interfering with play. Reminder that Manchester City will lead 2-0 if the goal is given.
No, he's disallowing it.
Here's Chris Kavanagh, the referee. He will announce it to the crowd. Hopefully we can hear him. Here it comes. Big moment.
Manchester City, number 9, is in an offside position.
Offside position, interfering with play.
You'd have thought we scored a goal.
Well, they've taken one away from Manchester City. So they feel an awful lot better about things. Bruno is flinging his arms up and down, trying to get more noise from the crowd, and there's a triple change from Eddie Howe. Nick Voltemada, Sandro Tonali and Anthony Elanga. Wissa is off. Barnes is going to the left, so that suggests Gordon is coming off. Ramsey is leaving the pitch, definitely, replaced by Tonali. He's played well, but he was off the field when Semenyo scored City's goal. And here comes Elanga for Gordon. Could be a great time for Anthony Elanga to show exactly what he can do in a black and white shirt. 1-0 down rather than 2-0, 69 minutes played. Goodness knows how much they'll add to the game, John Anderson, but
it's scandalous.
Here's Joelinton, offside. Joelinton caught by Bernardo Silva after the ball had gone, and now Joelinton, who's on a yellow card, needs to be careful and not react. And he didn't put hands on him, but he didn't like it. 1-0 is significantly better than 2-0, so they are happy and relieved. As farcical as you think it is, this has surely helped Newcastle.
Yeah, but without a shadow of a doubt, but it shouldn't take that length of time.
Crossfield ball from City. Barnes closes down. Dodgy back pass. Trafford volleys it out into the lower section of the east stand. Quick throw from Hall to Voltemada. Lifted across to Elanga. Headed back to Bruno. Tonali! Oh, he's put it wide. Tonali edge of the area. Left foot half volley. Wide of Trafford's post. Good nod down from Elanga. Good vision to see him.
Good strike. Hits it well. Keeps it down.
Newcastle have had the big chances in the game. Manchester City scored a tap in after a cross was helped on. Yes, they've had one disallowed, but they've not really tested Nick Pope. Newcastle have put one over the bar when Wissa should score early on. Bruno hit the post after Wissa's header was pushed onto the bar and down, and there Tonali wide. If they're going to get back into it, either here or in 3 weeks, they've got to take their chances. Here's Haaland dangerously to Reinders, blocked by Hall. Throw on the far side, 15 yards out.
Good block again, wasn't it? Reinders lined it up, he got his body across the ball.
Bernardo Silva up forwards and beyond Tanali. And Lewis blocked by Botman. The cross from Semenyo. Hall beats Semenyo second time around to the ball, then loses out in a recovery challenge from Semenyo. Good battle from the goal scorer and someone who just keeps getting better in a black and white shirt. Doku, and a noisy St James's Park despite United being one down. Teasing Miley and Elanga, playing it back to Ake and getting it again. Doku's cross, blocked by Joelinton and cleared by Joelinton. Alain's header, Lewis gets underneath it, Barnes pushed him, and it's a clear foul. And there's no need to do it.
No, it's a silly foul to give away, wasn't it?
Free kicks 30 yards from goal. Has a yellow card just been shown? Or was the referee just pointing?
He was spraying.
Oh, okay, because the ball was down in the City half and there was some boos. I wondered if they kicked it away just to slow things down. Bernardo Silva's gone to retrieve the ball. It's actually about 35 yards out, and Rodri, I'd forgotten he'd come on. Semenyo back inside to Rodri. Joelinton tries to win it and does. Bruno helping it on. He was caught late, and the referee goes into his pocket and shows a yellow card to Bernardo Silva, I think.
Yeah, Silva got the card.
Oh, he's had a proper swipe at him there, and Bruno's gone up, and that's a nasty one. To Man City, who've had a goal disallowed after one of the longest VAR checks I can remember. One goal in it. Pope, long, Chow heads on. Baltamada keeps it in with a header. Elanga near the corner, back into the middle. Ake away. Haaland handball. Surely handball. It's outside the box, but it's a clear handball. And the assistant on the near side had the right position and a good view and blows for a free kick. What was Haaland doing? You say it was too high up. Do you think it hit his shoulder?
Handball.
It was handball.
Put his hand into the ball.
Yeah.
Put his arm into the ball.
Elanga and Hall there next to the free kick on the right. Probably about in line with the penalty spot, just nearer to the touchline than the penalty box. Great position though. Hall clips it in, back post. Chow tries to get up, but Haaland heads it away, and Semenyo's going to get there. So that's a disappointment. Semenyo's clearance goes out around halfway on the far side, and Tanali comes to take the throw. 75th minute on BBC Radio Newcastle. We're also on BBC Sounds tonight. Baltamada chests it, tries to hold off the defender. He's been tackled. A couple of Man City headers. Haaland stretching for it. Joelinton coming back to cover, and Reinders all over him. Joelinton ends up on the floor, gets back up, still got the ball. Now tries to lift it in behind for Elanga, and Elanga, what a great touch! Elanga just outside the area, going square to Barnes. Good setup. Barnes has got support from Hall, plays it to Elanga, tried to get it back. It's cleared.
Better intensity about it now.
Some good moments, touches from Elanga since coming on. He's making a run in behind, and flag goes up, but he didn't control the ball anyway. Trafford got it rolled out to Ake. Now that's in the space that Elanga would have been. Baltamada goes off in pursuit of Ake, and Doku now trying to run away from Bruno and Baltamada. Bruno, yeah, he's going to get a yellow card here. But the challenge late on Doku. Newcastle's captain is booked.
Good feet, wasn't it? Tight space.
1-0 down. Ryan Shirky, a player with so much talent. Summer signing for
I'll tell you what,
City.
I'm not unhappy to see him go off either.
Comes on for Jeremy Doku. Antoine Semenyo comes to the left. Shirky goes to the right. Newcastle lost Jacob Murphy to injury in the first half, and they brought on Barnes then, and they made a triple change in the second half. Elanga, Tonali and Voltemada on. We're going to be with you till 10:30 on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds tonight to discuss the match after it finishes. The tie still has another half to go next month. If they could get back into it and just not trail going into the second leg, then it would be good for belief and for their chances, wouldn't it? Here's Semenyo on his chest, over the head of Miley. Bruno coming back. He says free, well, could have been a foul for a high foot. Referee says not. Tonali comes back to help out. It's away from Semenyo, but overruns it. Bernardo Silva then overruns it, and that is a goal kick in the corner. Tonali, Bernardo Silva, Semenyo, all battling hard for their respective teams. Botman here, chipped into midfield, straight onto the head of Rodri. Could be trouble. It's Bernardo Silva, edge of the area on the outside. Bernardo Silva, massive block by Lewis Hall. A huge moment. Shirky goes back out wide. Bernardo Silva lifts it in. There's nobody there in blue. Elanga goes after it and decides to keep it in. Oh, he slipped Elanga. And he's regained his footing. Played it to Miley, and he wins a goal kick by hitting it against Reinders.
Should have let it go out, shouldn't he?
"79 minutes. City's second goal disallowed after a long VAR check for offside. Semenyo thought he had a double, but Haaland was offside and interfering with play. There Voltemada flicks on. He came deep to flick on, but there's nobody beyond him, but he would have known that he was
Joe
the player
Linton. Joe Linton was there to flick it on, and the two of them got in each other's way.
Didn't need to drop in. Hall with a throw, middle of his own half. Bruno from Hall's throw, back to Pope. Chow goes to the right. It's rolled into the path of Chow. It's got to go on to Miley. It does first time. And Miley back to Chow. City closing down. And Pope away. Voltemada trying to help it on, which he sort of has done. But City with some lovely passing make their way forwards. This is the sort of stuff that they do so well, and probably as good as anybody. It's not the way Newcastle play, but Manchester City just popping it around. Rodri back to Shirky. And they have had their chances. Tonali just wide, the latest. A double chance earlier in the half. Wissa, big save from Trafford, might have touched it onto the bar. Bruno on the follow-up, hit the post. Back pass now to Trafford. Joe Linton and Voltemada putting pressure on, and a lane away from Voltemada into midfield, up to Haaland, played back to Rodri. Bruno close to winning it from Reinders, but Man City still have it, and it's whipped out to the far side. And they've got it in the box, but Botman makes a block. However, his clearance comes only to Rodri. Bernardo Silva passing it around. Now in the final third, Rico Lewis on the outside for Ryan Shirky from the goal line. It's gone through Pope's legs. It clipped the keeper, went through his legs, and it's out on the near side. City throw. Still 1-0 to the away side.
Dear oh dear. Just opened up, didn't it? Got it wide. Could have went anywhere off Pope's inside his ankle.
Yeah, so it clipped his ankle or heel, and I think went through his legs and away from goal, happily. Goal kick for United. Semenyo out of play, battling to keep it in the corner. 9 minutes of normal time remaining in the first leg.
So that's 15 minutes.
Yeah, oh well, there could be 8 or 9 minutes, couldn't there? And after the long extra period against Leeds and then half an hour against Bournemouth plus penalties, it's going to be a lot more football still to come. In behind, over the top from City, no one there. And they beat Huddersfield and Swansea away before defeating Brentford at home in the quarter-finals. And the goal on 53 from Semenyo separates the sides tonight. Barnes wanting a throw, not getting it. Newcastle appeal again. Manchester City get the decision. Lewis Hall gets pushed.
Needs to be careful, the referee here. He's going to lose control of this.
Arguments on the far side. Hall and fans at the front of the East Stand unhappy. Manchester City have got a decision, a throw on halfway. Have you seen enough, John Anderson, to suggest that they can get an equaliser?
You wouldn't rule it out. Manchester City will give you a chance. They'll give you chances.
Referee is going to give a yellow card to Rico Lewis for taking too long over the throw. Of course, he released the ball just before the whistle went. And he's got it again. Could do with being careful. Up to Haaland, holding off Hall. Getting it back there to Shirky. Hall then makes a good challenge. Joe Linton's got it here. Voltemada with a touch, trying to play it inside, has lost out to Haaland. Back it goes. Elanga trying to get onto it. Elaine is there. Elanga's on his shoulder. Makes him roll it back to Trafford. And it's pushed out to Elaine on this near side. Chipped in to space for Ake. It's not really his game and it's out. Chow
hasn't got the pace he once had. He was quick at Bournemouth. Getting on a little bit.
It's 30. Nathan Ake, the Dutchman. Hall. Barnes makes a run in behind Lewis. It's come to Harvey Barnes. Inside. Voltemada in the area. Can't get it out of his feet. More frustration for Newcastle in front of goal. They found Barnes with a searching ball over the top. Got it inside to Voltemada. It didn't really land nicely for him, but they couldn't bring it down. And City clear, and they're on their way up to Newcastle's goal now through Shirky with Haaland and Reinders in the middle. Shirky smashes it against Botman. Barnes scoops it out to the far touchline to Hall. And that's floated over to Elanga, headed on inside, straight to a blue shirt. Got there before Ake. Here's Elanga challenged by Ake. Now Miley's header for Anthony Elanga. He's given that away, looking for Bruno. City up to Haaland, 5 yards outside the area. Erling Haaland in behind for Reinders. Pope lands at his feet and gets hold of the ball. Rolled out square to Hall. 1-0 down. Kieran Trippier's coming on in a moment. Hall, that's a long ball, looking for Voltemada, and it's behind one defender, and a header that didn't have a lot behind it from Elaine, but is caught by Trafford. Plenty going on, John Anderson.
There is.
A couple of attempts to win it from Joelinton, but Reinders has brought it clear, and he's overhit the pass. Haaland, I think, wanted it to feet, didn't want to run in behind. Chow back to Pope.
It's getting stretched now as well, isn't it?
Here's Bruno inside to Tonali, who's deep in midfield, and Hall onto Barnes. Voltemada running in behind. Barnes has tried to release him. Kuzanov comes over, plays it up the line. Rodri has given it away to Joelinton. Uncharacteristic from Rodri. Bruno takes it back in midfield. I think it hit the referee. Newcastle still have it. Tonali, Joelinton's cross. City head clear. Miley, edge of the box, challenges with Semenyo, and it comes down to a blue shirt. and they hit it against Tonali. It rebounds against Bernardo Silva, and there are screams for handball, and then it's lifted up to Shirky, inside looking for Haaland. Pope
good positioning
and puts it out.
Good positioning.
Bruno's coming off. Oh, it is Bruno. 39. Miley will go into midfield, one would expect, and Trippier to right back. Ryan Aït-Nouri, the former Wolves player, just back from Africa Cup of Nations with Algeria, comes on for Nathan Ake for Manchester City. Straight swap. 3 minutes of normal time remaining. They have had their chances, not many of them, but a couple of big ones that they didn't take. But they are as disappointed not to score those as they will be as relieved to know that the second Manchester City goal was disallowed following the long VAR check. It will mean a lot of additional time.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Bernardo Silva around halfway. Goes back. I wonder what they will add on to the game. I'd say more than 5, I would think.
Yeah, you would hope so.
Trafford, long high ball, Semenyo lent into Trippier, and then the ball bounces away, and nicely for the Manchester City winger, the goal scorer. Bernardo Silva to Aït-Nouri, and Rodri back to Alain. Always played it against Elanga. Newcastle have it back. Elanga looking for Voltemada. Then Tonali has it, and it's out off Elanga. Yes. Control and touch wasn't quite there. Ball was pinballing around. It's had some very good and some bad Anthony Elanga since coming on. Back from a knock. First appearance since the Chelsea match before Christmas. Looking for Haaland. Claims of handball not given. Out anyway for a Newcastle throw. Heading towards the 90th minute. Chow across the Magpies penalty box at the Leazes end. Botman back to Chow. Trippier up the line to Elanga. He's found a gap to play a pass to Chow. Manchester City not letting Newcastle get away. They do every part of the game so well, don't they? Barnes threatening to run behind. Paul plays it short to Barnes on halfway. Jinks inside. Botman. Driven pass. Chested down by Trippier. Crossfield ball on halfway. Looking for Voltemada with a little touch onto Miley. Trying to get it back to Voltemada. It's just behind him. Oh, it's so frustrating. It just won't drop where they want it to. Now Trippier slides in on Semenyo, and the whistle's gone. He's going to get a yellow card. What's your view?
He dived in, didn't he? Studs were up.
Numbers board says 9 minutes. Newcastle 0, Man City 1. 9 minutes minimum added on time. Semenyo back up, limping slightly, trying to run it off. Trafford comes out to take the free kick. Trafford straight out of play. Trippier throw, misses out Tonali. That's not a bad one. Joe Linton behind him in midfield. Back to Botman. On to Hall. He's put in some shift tonight, Lewis Hall. That's behind a City defender. Kuzanov, though, was covering for Lewis and played it forward to him. Stopped Barnes getting in. Joe Linton's got it back. Here's Tonali. runs into a challenge, and then Joelinton makes a tackle. Rodri then wins it back for City. He goes down, referee didn't blow. They still have the ball, Manchester City. In their own half, Tonali will give away a free kick there for the foul on Bernardo Silva, and will pick up a yellow card for doing so.
Every time they fall down, give them a free kick. That's what you're doing, you cheat.
Yeah, it was pretty physical there, Tonali, wasn't it?
Yeah, he just buys free kicks. He's so good on the ball. He's low centre of gravity, Silva. Twists one way, twists the other. Invites them challenges, doesn't he?
1-0 down. Second half goal from Semenyo. Disappointing one to concede with the cross. But it was a really intelligent flick on from Bernardo Silva to give Semenyo a tap in. He then had one disallowed after Haaland was offside and interfering with play. So it could have been worse. Trafford slips as he takes the free kick. Voltemade unable to hold it up, and Shirky for City into the area. Shirky straight at Pope, thank goodness. 1-0 cannot become 2-0. Trippier up to Elanga, inside to Miley. Good ball by Elanga, and he's won a free kick. James's Park getting pretty feisty, and actually in some parts quite angry. Fourth official getting some grief from a member of the Manchester City staff. We might be getting a yellow card now. Pep Guardiola says, "Is it me?" And referee Chris Kavanagh smiles and says, "Not this time, it's not you."
Yellow cards flying around all over the shop.
It's one of his coaches. City line is about 15 yards up from the edge of the box. Trippier free kick just behind halfway. 1-0 down, 9 minutes added. Voltemade can't get there. Hall's got it. Joelinton to Tonali. Lifted out to
Great
Barnes.
Ball.
Good position. Barnes' cross. Voltemade! No! Voltemade flying at it, stretching, trying to connect and get a header on target. Didn't.
It's a lovely ball. It's a lovely ball. Just has to grow an extra inch, doesn't he?
Tallest player out there, not big enough. Now he's a fraction away from it. It was a really good ball in. Just been some near misses, fine margins, nearly moments, and in matches against the best teams like Manchester City. Arsenal are above them, 6 points clear in the Premier League, but City are still one of the very best. You have to take those chances. It's unforgiving. Trippier makes a good interception. Miley now in midfield to Botman. There's still time for them to equalise, make it 1-1 and go into the second leg level. Joelinton to Barnes, carried well by Barnes, out to Hall. City got lots of blue shirts back. Hall tries to weave his way through. He's been tackled. Tonali then wins the ball. Hall takes it back into space and plays it to Barnes. Voltemade edge of the area. Elanga in the box. Trippier makes a forward run. Header from Aït-Nouri. Trippier plays it back to Chow. 4 minutes and 10 seconds of the additional period still to go. Tonali to Elanga and back again. Tonali's ball finds Barnes, left side of the penalty box. On the outside to Hall, in the area, hangs it up. Keeper's missed it. Where's it dropping? Roof of the net. Took a touch of a defender. Trafford got lost. It's just not quite dropping for Newcastle. The Voltemade header, a couple of times he tried to link up in the area, it didn't work out. Corner kick though. Let's see if they can equalise. In the 96th minute, been a lot of late goals recently. They could do with another. In comes the corner, straight onto the head of a Man City player. I think it was Rodri. Hall, nice turn. Hall, shot blocked. Joelinton heads on. Voltemade coming for it, but Trafford always favourite. And he throws it out quickly towards Semenyo. Trippier on a yellow card, can't challenge. Semenyo using his pace to try and get away into the box. and it's slid out by Botman and held behind by Trippier. In fact, it's not Botman, it was Hall, wasn't it?
He's been brilliant tonight, Hall. He's been everywhere.
Just getting some help for some cramp. Haaland looks like he's exhausted.
Don't know how.
Semenyo has been very good tonight. He might well be scoring the winner in the first leg. 1-0 Man City. Still time to change it though for United. Throw for the away side in the corner. Got 2 minutes plus, 2.5 minutes. Just hasn't happened in front of goal for Newcastle with the finish or the last pass sometimes before the finish. And City back to Kuzanov. Onto the head of Ait-Nouri, inside to Semenyo. Bernardo Silva. They'll just try and pass their way towards the final whistle. Up the line, and he's passed it out of play. Elanga leaves the throw for Trippier at right back. Tonali back to Trippier. Back down the line to Chow, into the box to Pope. Oh dear. He's gone out for a throw. Looks like he shinned that out of play. Newcastle 0, Man City 1. Ait-Nouri gets it back from Semenyo. Takes it inside away from a black and white shirt. Semenyo to Shirky. Little flick to Ait-Nouri, who's in the penalty area. Pulls it back. It's 2-0. Oh, that's a killer blow. In the 99th minute, Manchester City through Ryan Shirky have a second goal. And Newcastle, who had tried to find an equaliser, now have to go into a second leg at the Etihad Stadium, where they've only ever won once, to overturn a 2-goal deficit to try and get back to Wembley. It's a tall order, it's a huge ask. It was a brilliant City move, and that might be the goal right at the end of the first leg, deep into added on time, that breaks Newcastle's hearts and also ends their dreams of retaining the League Cup. There's still one match to play. Shirky has finished, and it's Newcastle United 0, Manchester City 2.
As you say, it's a great move. Great one-touch football.
St James's Park now empties. Big disappointment with tonight. They'd won both legs of the 2 previous semi-finals. Late goals again, they profited from them. Gordon against Bournemouth, although they conceded very late to see a penalty shootout on Saturday. The Leeds goals that they scored, Newcastle in that win, but now one has hurt them. They're trying to get one back. Joelinton, Hall's cross is overhit. He's done so much good tonight, but there's an overhit cross as they tried in vain to get one back, and that's the end of the match, the end of the first leg. And well, right now, with the feelings of deflation, it's hard to see how that's not the end of Newcastle's quest to retain the League Cup. Big smiles and high fives from a job done by Manchester City, who've won the first leg, John Anderson, 2-0.
Yeah, they controlled the game well, didn't they? They played it well. We had our moments, but they just had the quality in front of goal, didn't they? They just had that little bit of X factor in front of goal. We had chances, didn't take them, and that's what it's all about against sides of this quality. You know, we said beforehand, Manchester City will give you opportunities, but you've got to take them opportunities when they come along. And unfortunately tonight we didn't do that.
Wissa at 0-0, and it was 0-0 at half-time. Put it over from close range after Murphy's cross found him in the box. He should have scored.
Yeah.
Then they had the chances in the second half. Wissa's header, big save by the goalkeeper at the top of the goal, and then on the follow-up, Bruno hit the post low down. Tonali wide, Voltemada close to connecting with a cross. A frustrating night in front of goal. Manchester City are an unbelievably good team and squad, and we saw that throughout the match, didn't we? You talked about the control they had, the way they play. Everybody is just so good.
They're just so comfortable on the ball. I mean, the second goal probably sums it up. You know, it's a great move. It's an unbelievable move, and it's great finish. But that's what you're up against with this quality. You know, we knew about their quality beforehand. I thought they managed the game well. I thought their game management was good. But look, we gave it all we had. We gave it our best shot. Unfortunately, on the night, we've come up short.
And they lost Jacob Murphy to injury as well, although he was back in the squad tonight after being rested at the weekend. Elanga came back from injury in the second half. A couple of mistakes, some groans from the crowd, but he did some good things as well. It's 7 changes tonight, and Eddie Howe trying to use the squad as best he can with all the injuries in defensive positions. It wasn't to be. The winning run, which is 3 matches in the league for Bournemouth, although obviously it was a draw in normal time and after extra time, but they won the tie. That run has come to an end. Wolves next in the Premier League, which remains of huge importance. Of course it does. They've had a decent run themselves, despite being bottom. They've got until Sunday, so they have a few days off here, which they'll need for recovery.
Yeah, they've got a few more days. Well, they've got an extra day to recover. But the games come thick and fast. You know, it doesn't get any easier from now on in. But as I say, gave it their all tonight. Just come up short.
And what about finally under the second leg before Simon Pride joins us again on BBC Radio Newcastle to chat to you till 10:30 about the match. What about the second leg in February next month, Wednesday the 4th of February at the Etihad Stadium? Their only win there was a 2-0 win in the League Cup under Alan Pardew in an earlier round of the competition. They never got this far back then. Newcastle, they have had plenty of defeats there. Some of them have been bad defeats, including last season when we all went, didn't we, in the league thinking that they had a chance of getting a result. It can unravel very quickly at the Etihad Stadium. If they are to get back to Wembley, it would need something spectacular, something that they've never done before, because they have to score 2 goals to try and take it to extra time, never mind win through it in 90.
Yeah, look, it's going to be difficult. We knew it was going to be difficult tonight. We seen how difficult it was tonight, but you're going into their backyard. Our record there isn't great, you know, and to think that we've got to score 2 goals and stop them from scoring.
Well, just win by 2, really, because they did away with the away goals rule, didn't
so they? It's, you know, it's a big ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
But in cup competitions, you never say never.
That's why that second goal is such a hammer blow.
Second goal is a huge blow, yeah, absolutely. Right at the death. We thought we'd got away with the one that was disallowed, but that second goal right at the death. It was. That was a big blow for us.
1-0 gave them a much better chance. 2-0 means it's going to be incredibly difficult. It would be hard enough away at City, needing something in any circumstance, but 2-0 down after the first leg. It's going to be tough, and there's lots of football to come between now and then. 2 Champions League matches. Wolves away, Villa at home, Liverpool away in the Premier League days before. I mean, they've got that run. Villa, PSG, Liverpool, City. It's tough. February, the entire month looks really hard, with some really awkward away trips in various competitions, maybe more Champions League football as well. Their season is not done by any stretch, but this League Cup tie is in the balance and in the favour of Manchester City. It was at 1-0, 2-0 very definitely, with that late Shirky goal adding to the Semenyo goal in the early part of the second half. You might want to talk to Ando and Pridey about the VAR check that ruled out a Man City goal, which would have made it 2-0 at the time. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start your message with BBC or if you're texting, it's 81333. You also need to start it with BBC, and we are at BBC Newcastle on X. And if you go to BBC Sound, search for Newcastle United for some post-match reaction later, and latest interviews and podcasts and updates from the Magpies on BBC Sounds. Hit subscribe to be notified when a new episode is available. Final score in the first leg of the League Cup semi-final on BBC Radio Newcastle tonight. Newcastle United 0, Manchester City 2.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
We're all a little bit tired today in the studio. I went to weigh my nuts this morning and I decant the nuts. Right, so what? What I always do in the morning is I have a large jar of nuts, right? I decant 100 grams of almond and cashews into a smaller pot.
Context.
Yeah. Anyway, what I did this morning, instead of weighing the nuts I was decanting, I just weighed the pot. This story's gone.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
And this is Simon Pride at St James's Park. We've got, 25 minutes or so to further dissect this evening's game. Newcastle beaten by 2-0 ultimately by Manchester City in this first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. Ando is on hand to take your calls and to respond to your messages. If you want to call, the number is 0800 234 6565. Perhaps you listen to our commentary or watch the match on TV and have just tuned in to hear some reaction and have your say yourself. We'd love to get you on 0800 234 6565. You may even be reaching your vehicle and waiting to queue in traffic to get home if it's safe to do so. Give us a call. Let us know your thoughts. Are Newcastle United out of this? It's going to be a very, very difficult task, bearing in mind how difficult a place it has historically been for the Magpies to go to the Etihad. But it is not completely out of the question. It isn't over yet. But how difficult is it going to be? 0800 234 6565. Send us a message, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp, 81333 on text. We would love to hear from you this evening. Ando's alongside me. I did think that the disallowed goal, Ando, that might end up being a huge, huge turning point. But that goal at the end, it's kind of deflated everybody, hasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely has. I mean, the goal that was disallowed, you were delighted that VAR was involved in the semi-final.
Yes.
But the goal at the death, as good a goal and as much quality as it was, it's a big blow. It was always going to be tough at 1-0 going to the Etihad, but going there 2-0 down, you've got to score 2 goals and not let them score. So it's going to be a big ask. But as I said, the razor at the dead, cup football, you never know what's around the corner and anything can happen.
Indeed, yes, so they mustn't give up, and obviously there's quite a lot of football to be played between now and then, as Reza was talking about a little bit earlier. It's the 4th of February, that second leg in Manchester, but they will have to have a plan and they will come out and try and execute it, and if they score first at the Etihad, well, it's game on again. So it's not completely over yet. Dave is on the line. It's not completely over yet, Dave, is it?
Hello, Simon. Hello, John.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, mate. Well, look, Bly Spartans won 4-1 away from home tonight, so anything's possible. But away
they did, yes, at Bridlington. Good result.
Oh, yeah, tremendous. Oh, tremendous, mate. But no, I think tonight kind of went as expected. I think Man City just keep the ball better. I think the 2 and obviously another goal were conceded. I didn't think we defended it well. We tried hard. The effort was there. And then the quality that comes off Man City's bench, along with the injuries we've got. Is it game over? Well, no, it's not. But I mean, I know, John, you said earlier this evening, you don't want to look at the record because it doesn't mean anything. But unfortunately, it's a fact. We do not play well or get anything at the Etihad, and to go there and try and overturn a 2-goal lead, I don't know. I don't think it's happening. I think we've got to get this league form to continue to improve on that. Yeah, I thought the lads tried hard tonight, but I just think Man City were just better in every department.
Yeah, I thought Manchester City's game management. Yeah, I thought that game management was excellent. You know, they kept the ball, they moved us from side to side. We had one or two moments. I mean, the second goal probably sums it up, Dave. You know, you talk about the quality that they have. The move that led to that was, you know, one-touch football, little flick in behind, pull back, good finish. I think going there 1-0 down was always going to be difficult. I think going there 2-0 down gives us a mountain to climb. It really does, because you know, can you see us going there and keeping a clean sheet? That's the big thing. You know, it's
absolutely not, John. Not with these injuries, mate. No. As well, you've got to look at the chances we've missed. I mean, Wissa missed that chance early on. Baltimore pulled the trigger earlier, and Man City take theirs, and that's the difference, I think. And again, Man City can go out and buy Semenyo, and we can't go out and buy that level of player at the minute. It's the difference. It's reality.
Yeah, I said before the game kicked off that Manchester City will give you opportunities, but when they give you opportunities, you've got to take them, because if you give them chances, they will punish you. And that's what they did to us. You know, they took their chances, we didn't take ours.
Yeah, and their goal came after Newcastle had hit the woodwork twice in quick succession.
I mean,
one of those goes
a minute later, they go down the other end and they score.
And you know, it was a fabulous save to push the first one onto the bar. So small margins, but they are a constant threat. They're constantly dangerous. Haaland's an interesting one because he wasn't particularly effective tonight. However, he occupies defenders all the time. Everyone's wary of him all the time.
Of course,
yeah. He does create space for others. So
they've just got players who are really comfortable on the ball. You know, Silva
all over the pitch.
He's a horrible little. You know, he gets in your face and he winds you up, but he's a hell of a footballer. He's got such great balance, and he keeps the ball, and he always wants the ball, and he winds people up. But you know, you're right in what you say, Dave, as well. You look at what they bring off the bench. You know, bring Cherky off the bench, they bring Rodri off the bench. You know,
pure quality.
Yeah,
that's what you get, I guess, of being a team that has been European champions and recently won the Premier League multiple times, won this competition multiple times in recent years as well. Dave, thanks ever so much for coming on this evening.
Take it easy.
Simon, just one more thing, mate. If we overturn that and get through, I'll wear a Sunderland shirt next time I'm in the studio, mate.
Okay.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you. Well, there's history here in that Jonathan last year ended up running the Great North Run because Newcastle went down to Arsenal and won by a couple of goals, and so he had to do that. So you never know if they go and do the same at the Etihad and end up getting through. It is possible. He mentioned there to Dave that the Blythe Spartans won 4-1 at Bridlington, which they did in the Northern Premier League East Division. Let me just, in the interest of balance, give you the other scores from that division as well. Dunstan beaten 3-1 at home by Hallam, but Consett came from behind to win 3-2 at Ossett. Keep the messages coming in this evening as well. This one has no name on it, but it says, between Elanga and Wissa, well, they cost £110 million. Neither completed a pass this evening. Whoever scouted them needs to be sacked. I mean...
Harsh, isn't it? Harsh. Wissa had that chance first half. You would expect him to hit the target, a player of his quality, but you know, in the previous two games he's had a couple of chances like that and he's done exactly the same. Elanga came on again, didn't really work out for him, but it's not through lack of not trying. You know, he wants to get on the ball, he wants to try, but at this moment in time it's just not working for him.
Ron is in Washington. He says, we've got two strikers, neither of whom dare to shoot first time. What are the Newcastle coaches doing to them? I mean, in this game he has a point, doesn't he? Because both Wissa and Baltimore had occasions when perhaps they could have pulled the trigger a bit earlier.
Could have pulled the trigger, yeah. I think from Wissa's point of view, it's maybe a lack of confidence at the moment with the chances that he's had and he hasn't taken them. I thought Baltimore came on, he was a handful, put himself about, but it's just the difference in the quality, isn't it, that they have, you know, in those advanced areas.
This one's from Gordon, who says, what a waste of space Wissa has been. Nearly every attack he's been offside and missed another sitter in the first few minutes as well. So Gordon not impressed with Newcastle's striker tonight either. Darryl is next on the line. If you do want to give us a bell, it's 0800 234 6565. Hello, Darryl.
Evening, lads. Well, I was worried about that front five of Man City before the game kicked off. And to be honest, for the most part, we dealt with it quite well. We were really structured in how we stopped the threat of them. I thought Lewis Hall had a fantastic game. And he was really good on the ball. He was able to get through that side of the pitch really well with his low centre of gravity. And he was just dancing around players. But I think it just sums our luck up that we have two gilt-edged chances right before they go down the other end and score. And you think if we take one of those, it could have been a completely different game. I felt a little bit sorry for you, Angus. I know you've just had a couple of messages there. I felt like he really put a shift in with his running. He wasn't always found, but he really put a shift in. I totally agree with some of the messages about hitting it first time, especially when Baltimore came on towards the end there, and he had a couple of really, really good chances. But I think, again, Semenyo's been a thorn in our side well before his time at Man City, and he's just coming back to haunt us again. And like you've mentioned there, the quality that they can bring on from the bench, we're in a position where we don't, we have a strong bench for us, but we don't have the amount of quality like a Man City do to come off the bench with the resources that they have.
Yeah, I think you make some valid points there. I think you're right. Our bench does look strong, but then you look at Manchester City's bench and you look at what they bring on and the quality that they bring on. They bring Rodri on, Ballon d'Or winner, Cherky, good players. They bring who are comfortable on the ball, and I thought Manchester City's game plan was excellent. I thought they moved. We knew what they'd do. They'd move the ball. They'd move it from side to side. They'd keep it. Yeah. They'd try and drag you out. And I thought they did it well. I thought they kept the ball really well. Saying that, said beforehand as well, Darryl, that they would give you opportunities. You will get opportunities against them, but you've got to be able to take those opportunities, because if you don't, they will punish you at the other end. And unfortunately tonight we didn't take the chances that we got that came along, and they took theirs. Yeah, absolutely. And with such a massive run of games coming up now, we've just got to put this one back in the cupboard and think about it when we go down to Etihad in a few weeks' time, because let's be honest, the games that are coming now are coming thick and fast, and they are huge for our season. Yeah, there's an awful lot of games coming up. So many games in such a short space of time. It's going to be difficult. There's no doubt about it. It is going to be difficult, but we've got to get through them the best that we can.
Darryl, thank you very much indeed. Guys. Safe journey home.
Cheers, mate. Take it easy.
David has sent a message. If you want to send a WhatsApp, it's 08000 321 333. A text 81333. Start your message with the letters BBC. David says, I think Eddie Howe should have prioritised which competitions they are going for. They seem to be falling